Okay, so pregame ritual. This is how we start all my team meetings on the Glutch group. And so if you want, feel free to take a, everybody likes to, we're all realtors. You share that you're growing, you're learning, and all that stuff. Feel free to do that. And grab a notepad, something to take notes if you don't have anything to write on. We do have some notepads in the back that we can help you with as well. And then put your phone on Do Not Disturb and silent and all that stuff. Even the buzzing, I'm telling you, it'll pull your mind some other place. All of a sudden, you're thinking about the deal, the whatever, the friend, and if you just put it on, turn it on off, or Do Not Disturb, you'd be better off. And then clear the calculator. That's my language for be here, be present, right? You came in today with all kind of exciting things happening in your life, all kind of problems, and we'll just try to leave those at the door. Push clear on the calculator, be present. I promise I will make it worth your while. This can be some valuable stuff for you and your career. So this is you. This is actual footage of agents in 2022. That's you on the swing while the garbage heap of a real estate market is on fire behind you. So you guys remember like 2 months ago when everything was awesome? And holy cow, that's changed a lot. It's been crazy. And so what I want to do first is help communicate to you guys, this is a big deal. Like, we're not kidding around. I've been doing this 20 years, and I've been through some ups and downs, and this is going to be a doozy. I am convinced of it. I was kind of convinced of it a month ago, and now I'm real convinced of it. And so I want to help you guys figure this out and snap out of it, okay? You got to get a little slap. Because you've been happy-go-lucky, man. Some of you people started 2 years ago when it was just, you just fell off a rock and sold a house, It was just easy. All you had to do was get your offer accepted. Finding buyers was easy. Selling a house, sell a house, you just list a house. It sells itself, been your whole career for some of you. And that is not going to happen anymore. Things are changing. You got to snap out of it. And let me prove it to you. I want you guys to get a real grasp for this. And so I've kind of assembled some ideas and some graphs and some statistics to help convince you that this is not a joke. This is not a drill. And here's a couple things. And Ashley, as people are coming in, if you could help make sure we get chairs for everybody from the staff, that'd be great. Okay, so this is the Cromford Market Index. I run a team in Arizona and here in San Diego and one in Las Vegas. We'll sell about 800 houses this year. And so we've got a lot of experience in a lot of places. And in Arizona, we're very lucky because we have a guy named Mike Orr, who's a statistician, used to be the head of the statistics department at Arizona State. And he studies the real estate market now and produces all kinds of material about how the real estate market's doing. Arizona, Vegas, and here are very similar, almost identical in terms of supply, demand, how that's all changed over the last 10 years or so, very, very similar. So this is Arizona data, but it's exactly the same in San Diego. There is no difference here. And what I want to show you is the Cromford Index, and this is a measure of how hot the market is. This predicts what will happen to prices. And so this is ahead of pricing. A normal Cromford Market Index measure is 100. So that's a normal year. 2014 I put in here as a reference for a normal year. So 100. At 100, there's about 6 months of supply. Meaning if you list a house today, on a normal market, it'd take you about 6 months to sell the house, give or take 3 to 6 months, something like that. That's how it was for a lot of my career. And at that level, prices go up about 2-3% a year. That's like a normal world. And what we saw, of course, over the last several years is an insane world, right? And so you see in 2022, the Cromford Index got up to almost 500. That means there's, on average, 5 buyers for every 1 listing, which we experienced, right? Some listings had 20 buyers, some had 2. On average, there's 5 buyers for every listing. That's crazy. That's insane. That's 35% market appreciation. Craziness. So we also saw that in 2005, if you were around then. Remember the housing bubble? How that got created in 2005. And then what happened is in 2005, toward the middle of the year, the market index started falling. And then if you go up beyond 2005 and 2007, 2008, whatever, it got to 50. So we got actually below 100. Anytime it's below 100, there's downward pressure on pricing. So you're going to lose pricing. And this is 2005. See how fast that dropped? Pretty fast. See how fast we're dropping now? Oh my gosh. That's terrifying. It's falling 4 times as fast as it fell in 2005. This is not a drill. This is a big deal. And this is right now falling at about 3.5 points per day, 3.5 points a day, which is a lot. That's breakneck speed. That means that what happens today, we're barely aware of how fast it's changing, and tomorrow things will be different. And certainly 2 weeks from now, things will be different. So it is changing really, really rapidly. That should be concerning. That should be concerning. And it's not just that. Here's what really matters to real estate agents, sales. Because here's the thing. The market's hot, the market's cold, whatever. If houses are being sold, You're a real estate agent. You can sell a house. Whether the prices are going up, down, good market, bad market, you can make money, right? Now, if there's less homes being sold, that's a problem. Because at the end of the day, transactions are what matter for us as realtors. If there's no transactions to go around, then that really is a problem. That's the supply and demand curve that matters to us, is are there enough transactions to go around? And so here's what that count is doing, and I put a couple reference points in here for you. And my team and I are tracking this every day, every week. So I got one of my virtual assistants every single week is slacking me this data, because that's how much we want to pay attention to it, how quickly things are changing. You know, when you sell 800 houses a year, you have 50 people on your team, you want to pay attention to how the market's doing so you can prepare people, right? So here's what's happening now. We've got this really steep decline in sales. Now, sales is a trailing indicator. So the Cromford index, that index I just showed you, is way ahead of the curve. So this is showing us panic, craziness, whatever. That's not what you feel on the streets yet. This is what's happening. This is telling you the future. And sales are telling you the past. So sales data will always trail behind what's actually happening, right? So does that make sense? And that's in prices too. So the news is, oh my gosh, 20% appreciation, the real estate market's on fire, whatever. All of us out in the streets are starting to feel like, oh, that's not what I'm feeling, right? You guys experiencing that? Okay, so what I'm telling you is it's getting worse fast, and we're starting to see it in the sales data. But this, I know exactly what's going to happen to that because the Cromford Market Index tells me what will happen to that, and it's going to keep going down. So this is 2021, so this is last year, record high. Never sold, 2021 record high sales, like per year, per month. Never have there been as many transactions as there were in 2021. If you couldn't make money in real estate in 2021, you were doing something wrong. Or you were new, you know, maybe you had a good excuse, that's all right. I'm not beating up on everybody, but the truth is it was in many ways easier than it's ever has been. We're starting to see that fall. And I put in a normal year for reference. So 2012 was a normal year for sales transactions. I just picked the median of the last 20 years. So this is what kind of a normal year. They're all cyclical, right? We all see less sales in the winter. Not many people selling their house on Thanksgiving Day, right? So that is normal, but this drop off is significant and will get worse. It will for sure pass 2012 and very likely get close to the worst year we've ever had, which is 2007. This is the real thing as agents we need to be paying attention to, because this is our supply. This is how much food is showing up to us, okay? Here's another thing, active agents. So we saw all these people get in the real estate business. This is old data. This is the newest I could find, 2020. Shocker, the state of California is a little bit behind publishing their data, just 2 years, no big deal. But we saw all these agents fall off, and then all of a sudden we started to see it tick up. So we're missing 21 and 22, but guess what happened then? More agents, right? A lot more. So this number's much higher. So now, less deals to go around, less transactions, right? We got more agents, more people fighting over those deals. This should be something you're thinking about. And again, as I'm starting here, I'm just wanting you guys to get hold of this idea that this is going to matter to you. The market heat is something that's important to understand because you want to educate your customer, you want to know how to pivot, what kind of strategy to deploy, that's important. But for you as like a person with a career and family to feed, these two numbers, how many agents are there and how many transactions are there, those are really, really important numbers for you to understand. And oh, by the way, here's my team's sales. We're selling a lot of houses. We got some people in the room selling 5, 6, 7, 800 houses a year. So not only are there more agents, but the agents that are around that are crushing it, right? So like our transaction volume has doubled twice in a row. We'll do like 700, 800 deals this year. So you got to fight against greedy team leaders like me and Kyle and Jim, so the other guys in the room who are crushing it. So now there's more competition than ever. The competition is better than ever, and there's less deals to go around. Did I have you scared yet? That's the goal. I'm going to get you going. Oh, by the way, commissions are going down. This is exciting news. Oh, yeah, it's 2.4. This is actually California data because it was worse than Arizona. So 2.26 is the average now. That's a bummer. And here's a couple of, it's a penny, and there's a penny, 0. Awesome, right? You couldn't put 0 in the MLS, so they put a penny. That's really cool, right? So that's a deal, right? Commissions are going down, less deals to go around, more people fighting over them. This is not looking good. This is like a real thing. Oh, by the way, inflation's going up. So everything costs more. Your gas, your food, your kids, all the crap you buy. Going up, right? They just published the May numbers, which is why the stock market fell to crap this week, is because inflation we thought was going to level off. Everyone's, oh yeah, it's going to be fine. Oh, no, it's not. Went up again in May. And so we know what's going to happen. The Fed is going to increase rates. That's going to cause interest rates to go up. That's a problem. So now your livelihood, everything you do, the stuff you're paying for, it's going to cost you more. So that's not good. You need a plan. Not like this guy. He says, do I look like a guy with a plan? You do. You need a plan. You really do. You got to have a strategy for this. This can't just be something that you sort of keep doing what you're doing. Like, it's not going to work. You need a new strategy. You need a sense of urgency and a sense of importance around this. Like, you really, really do. And so that's what I'm going to give you today. We're going to give you a plan. We're going to have actual strategy, an actual plan. I've done this very well. I've done this very poorly over my 20-year career and learned a few things along the way. And now I'm leading a big, huge team of people who, it's my responsibility to make sure they're equipped to do this stuff well. And so I want to share all that with you as well. So we're going to talk about a plan. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, what I've kind of landed on, this is something I've been working on for a long time and I finally found good language for, is we want you to be abundant agents. So in contrast to all that stuff I just told you, the reality is, regardless of what's happening with the market, there is opportunity. And when things get harder, the people who are the best win, right? I've used this metaphor before. If you play basketball in high school, how much do you get paid? Give me an answer, somebody. Zero. How much do you get paid to play in college? Nothing. How much do you get paid to play in the pros? $1 bajillion, right? That's so much. Why? It's freaking harder. It's way harder. It's insanely harder, right? So, and this is true universally, the harder things get, the more the people who excel at that level will get paid. So I just showed you my transaction count. Kyle, Jim, all these people in the room who run big teams, I can tell you they're up double digits on their last years. So who's winning? The best people are crushing it, and it will only get better. This is fantastic news. When the market gets all kind of side, you saw all those agents that fell out when the market crashed, right? That's great news. And that's going to happen. A lot of people that are in the business today will not be in the business in a year, 2 years, 5 years. It's not going to happen. They're just not going to survive. But you're in a room full of people who are excellent and being taught strategies that are excellent. And so you have an opportunity here to thrive, to live in abundance, to absolutely crush it. And so I want you guys, if you pull out the sheet, everyone has one on their deal, and I actually want to go through this and fill it out. And this is a mindset exercise. And I want you to actually score yourself, but I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to explain how this works. And I don't know why the printer just got the PDF and they're like, yeah, we'll make it that big. I don't know why this was the size they chose. But you can use this to, keep the sun out of your car, whatever you want to do. So, all right, so here's how this works. First of all, your mindset is the most important thing on the planet. All of your behavior, every action that shows up in your life started as a thought. All of them. 100%. Well, does anybody want to argue with me that your mindset is the most important thing about you? You got a better thing. So all your actions, all the crap you do every day, all the mistakes you make, all the brilliant choices you make are because of your mindset. So there are people, there's to overgeneralize, there are three kind of people right now. There are people who don't know any of this is even happening. They're just living their life. Real estate agents showing up, doing stuff they did a year ago. No idea. They're totally ignorant. There are some people who know this and are freaking panicked. It's the world is ending. It's terrible. It's disaster. I better go find another job. And then there are abundant agents, people who are thinking at a higher level, who are wanting to find the possibility in this market. Okay? And what I want to do is walk through a couple different mindsets, and I've broken down what I call the abundant agent lifestyle into 8 categories, and we're going to address 3 of these today. I'm going to help you scale up your skills and hopefully your mindset in 3 of these areas. But first, let's do a self-evaluation. And don't just pick the right answer. Pick the true answer, because this is just for you. There's no right answer. We're not going to call you up here and have you give your score. But I do want you to go through and give your score. And so we're going to talk about the first thing, which is generating referrals. And as you go over, you're just going to score yourself 1 through 12, and you can read the little mindsets. I'll do the first one with you, then we'll give you a few minutes to fill it on your own. So mindset. What's your mindset on referrals? You rarely or never get referrals because these are so hard to get. People don't trust you or believe that you're good enough to refer business to you. So you would, if you're in that category, you would kind of 1 to 3. 1 would be yes, I'm kind of in the less end of that deal. 3 would be the best. Next, you'd love more referrals, you just don't know how to get them. You believe you would do a good job for people, you just can't quite seem to get any momentum. Next after that, you have a system in place that puts you in front of potential referral sources regularly, and it's working. You get referrals often and consider yourself successful with them. And then next would be you get referrals monthly and are constantly thinking of new and innovative ways to generate even more. You believe that people would be crazy not to refer you their friends and family. Okay, so just score yourself, and then I want you to go down every category. I'm going to give you 3 minutes, and then we're going to discuss. So run through these. It'll take you a few minutes, but that's okay. It's important to know where we're at. Let's be realistic about where we're at. So self-evaluation, circle your score, and then you'll, right at the end here, so whatever your score was here, you would write that at the end, and we're going to make a total at the bottom. So you're going to circle 1 through 12 for getting referrals. You pick whatever your number is. Or I guess you wouldn't circle it. You just write it at the end there. And then same thing with buyers, et cetera, et cetera. So I'll give you a few minutes to do that. As you guys went through this, give me a couple takeaways. Who had some, let's start with this. Who was like, I'm happy with the number. Give me a number you were happy with. Somebody, one of your numbers that you were like, I'm doing pretty good here. We'll take volunteer. We'll be here.
My daily joy.
Did anybody do well? Okay.
Daily joy is like
Daily joy. High on the daily joy. That's great. What'd you score there?
12.
Okay. Awesome. How about, are you comfortable sharing something that was low? Something you were bummed on?
Yeah, my generating referrals, I feel like is 7.
Okay. All right. Great. So it's good to be aware of. Wonderful. Okay. Opposite? A lot of referrals who suck. Just terrible human beings.
Daily joy 6.
There you go. Great. Super helpful to know. Okay. Thank you for sharing. What else? Give me 2 more people. High and low. Of course.
High was serving others, and the low was profitable buyers.
There you go. Okay. Great. Thanks, Horace. One more. Curtis.
For generating flows, I was like an 8.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Okay. Okay. Yeah, great. You were serving yourself with a generous number there. That's great. Yeah, here's the thing. The idea, it's the revelation, hey, I'm doing great on converting leads, not so good on daily joy. That's a helpful thing because at the end of the day, what are we doing this for? Right? It's not just to make widgets. We're not machines in a cog, or cogs in a machine. So if we're not happy, right? So it's important that we're all after sort of these bottom numbers, right? We want to have daily joy, abundant time. Who felt good about abundant time? Anyone score above a 9? Jim? Anybody else? Kelly? Okay. How about this? I'm interested. Who scored above? We're going to go through the categories real quick. If you got an 8 or above in the category, raise your hand. I want to see where we had the most wins. So 8 or above in generating referrals. Okay, look around. Okay. And selling listings. 8 or above. Less people. Okay. Profitable buyers. 8 or above. Even less people. Converting leads. 8 or above. Okay. All right. 8 or above. Daily joy. Hey, we've got some happy people. That's great. Abundant time, 8 or above. Pretty good. Passive income, 8 or above. A few people, great. And then serving others, 8 or above. Okay. And I saw some people their hand up almost every time. So there is an element of if you're doing this well and in a balanced way, you want the tide to rise everything. And I've developed this as part of what I'm trying to do with my team and with my group of people at my brokerage EXP is I want to get everybody on board with let's figure out a way to quantify what we're really doing here. At the end of the day, we want to live an abundant life, right? What's abundance? It's overflowing. There's extra. There's more, right? If you're a Bible reader, Jesus said, I've come that you would have abundance, that you'd have more. That the thief has come to steal, kill, and destroy. I have come that you would have abundant life. So that's what we're after. It's so much that it's pouring out. And so that's why this end part is so critical of serving others is what are we doing? Do we have so much that is pouring out of us? And not just service projects, but you're giving away to the other people in the community. And so I'm sharing some of my most important, most valuable stuff here today, even though many of you have no financial incentive to do that, because I want to serve others. I want to give away the wonderful treasures I've accumulated over the years of doing this. And so I hope for you guys to do the same, so that the agents who do stick it out are going to do really well. So hopefully that was helpful, and I'm going to walk you guys through how, at the end of the day, what I want to do with my team, with my group at EXP, is I want everyone to get those numbers up, all the way up. Where do we really need to work on? How do we get those numbers up progressively so that a year from now we fill this thing out and you're like, dang, okay, I made some progress. We're going to make a plan for getting all those numbers up. So I want to talk about a couple of ways we could do that today. Let's start off with profitable buyers. I called it profitable buyers instead of just buyers because that's an abundant word, and buyers can absolutely be profitable, and that's a big focus of what I'm going to talk about today, is how to make your buyers very, very profitable. So let's talk about that, getting your buyers off the fence. Here's the thing, it's terrifying times. If your buyers are paying attention, they should be a little scared. Some of them aren't, some of them are. But if they are, they should be scared, and so you got to help them get off the fence. You got to figure out a way to get them in the game. And the first thing is, I want to talk about what's the goal. when you call back a lead. And so somebody besides, you can't sell more than 100 houses a year and answer this question. I need somebody who's not a big team leader to answer this. What's the goal for calling back a lead? What's the goal? Why are you calling them back? Set a next step, get an appointment. What else? Any different answers than that? Jim, why are you calling back a lead? What's the goal?
The goal is actually to move them down the process to get them closer to owning a home.
Yeah.
So it's an incremental step every single. You get them to say yes in various increments to move them down a logical path.
Yeah. And to start with that, you got to figure out what's their timing and motivation. Like, what are they after? Because we may or may not want to set an appointment, right? They could be, I don't know, super unmotivated. Maybe they want to move in a year, 2 years, whatever, right? So the goal, and I think this is the Craig Proctor's language, and I think it's really helpful, is determine timing and motivation. That's the first phone call, and then to Jim's point, once you get that figured out, help them move to the next stage, which may not be an appointment. It may be any number of things, sending them a newsletter, getting them educated, whatever, right? So it's important to know that when you're calling people back, that part of the idea of getting them off the fence is recognizing that their motivation and timing is really important to understand. If you don't know how motivated they are or what their timing is, you could waste a ton of time with people, and you could be addressing needs they don't have. Someone who's not that motivated, you could offer them all the off-market houses in the world, and it's not going to do anything because they're just not motivated. So your job with that person, to Jim's point, is to get them down the funnel more, which is to get them motivated. So you are going to deal a lot more with that now. You are not used to this. Your buyers are motivated as hell. They are waking up every morning up until this point, the last 2 years, just tripping over themselves to buy a house. Yes, I'll pay $100,000. Okay, great, I'll pay over asking price. Waive the appraisal, sure. That stuff's insane. That's a bunch of crazy ideas that did not happen 3 years ago. And that's because the buyers were insanely motivated. They will not be. You need to learn a new skill set. And that skill set is how to help your people get motivated to get them off the fence. So the game before was get your offer accepted. What's the new game? Get them motivated. Get them motivated, okay? Now their timing is a part of that too, right? Like, oh, I got to move to, I'm not moving for a year, whatever. Okay, that's part of the deal. Determine timing and motivation. Okay, so your job is to help them see the light. Why is now a good time to buy? Okay, so real question. Why is now a good time to buy? Yeah, we got seats up here if you need one. Or we can cart some more in there if you don't. Right now, why is it a good time to buy a house? Give me a couple answers.
Historically low rates.
Historically low, yes. Even at 6%, it's true. Yep. Competition is lower, absolutely. Yep.
More to choose from.
More homes to choose from, yes. Yep. Yep, Horst.
You actually get an inspection.
You're allowed to get an inspection. Imagine that. You can go look at the house. You go open the door and poke around if you want to. No problem, right? That's crazy.
The rents are going up.
Rents are going up, absolutely. Yep. These are great answers. Great answers. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through some of those. Here's the thing. The agent that can get a buyer to make a decision will win. I got this in an email the other day. I thought the language is so good. This is true. This should be freaking on your dashboard. The agent that can get a buyer to make a decision will win. It used to be that the agent that could get a buyer to pay the most wins. It is now who can get a buyer to make an offer. Not to be the one of the 10, to make a offer. I spent a lot. I showed one lady 100 houses, and she never bought a house. So I am telling you, because I have gone to the pits of hell, that this is true. I should have stopped 7 houses in and figured out this lady's not motivated, right? And I learned a lot. I don't do that anymore. Even my team, this is years ago when the market was much more normal, we were averaging, and we tracked this, so we were averaging about 8 or 9 home showings before we sold a house, even in a normal market. And one of the ways, and this isn't in the slideshow, I'm just thought of off the cuff, but one of the ways we did that is we told the buyers when we met with them that that's how it was going to go. Hey, on average, we show our clients 6, 7 houses and before they find the one that's for them. Now it's in their head. Oh, okay, that's how it goes, 6 or 7 houses. If you don't sell that, if you say, hey, we could do this till Jesus comes back, well, that's what they're going to do. So you got to help them get a narrative in their head of how this is going to go. So this is so important. Such a big mindset shift. And it blows me away that I stood here not even a year ago and had a whole different talk. A lot of you were here. That's crazy. I mean, it's really surreal, actually, to be doing this right now. Okay, so here's 4 reasons. I think these are the kind of 4 fundamental reasons. Yes, interest rates are higher. Someone said this. Actually, no, they didn't quite say this. But we can refinance out of them. Rates might go up even higher. Don't take that risk. And that's very likely right now. Why is it a good time to buy a house? Because rates will be 8% in 2 months. I don't know if that's true. Maybe. Wouldn't surprise me. Possible. Absolutely possible. Back to somebody's point over here, they're historically low. That's true. So if things always revert to the mean, will they go up? Yes. The inflation was crazy, bonkers, so we think it's very likely the Fed's going to keep fighting against us and get interest rates higher. That's a good reason. It also builds urgency. And there's no downside risk for interest rates. You get a 6% interest rate, they go down to 5, refinance, no problem. Okay, number 2, you don't have to buy a house that you don't want. Someone mentioned that. That's awesome. You can buy a house you actually like. That's great. And when you're talking to people about this, have fun with it. Joke around. I was selling houses to people they didn't even want 6 months ago. It was a disaster. They just write an offer because they could afford it. They hated the house. And I was giving you guys that strategy a few months ago of like, hey, just tell the people they can fix it up. It doesn't matter if they like it. Get them a house. 3 months ago, $1 million house sold for 1.1. Right now, we might be able to get it under asking price. And I think that's going to get more and more likely. A month from now, almost a certainty. For prices are still rising, which is true statistically. The median right now is down a little bit in San Diego, but median and average are 2 different things. And there's almost no risk of them going down. I wrote this 2 weeks ago. I should have fixed it. That's not true anymore. Because that's how much my mindset has changed in 2 weeks. There's no risk of them going down. I don't think that's true anymore. So I wouldn't say that, which is, again, crazy. Think about what that $1 million house, now this is true, and someone gave me this framework at a mastermind I was at Dan Beer's office a couple weeks ago, super, super helpful, of like, hey, 20 years ago, what do you think this house cost? I don't know, like $500,000? Yeah, so, do you plan on being in this house for all? Yes. 20 years from now, imagine you're you, your future you, 20 years down the road. What advice would you give yourself today? Buy the house. Because that's true, over 20 years, you can be pretty certain that you made the right choice, buying a house in San Diego. So give yourself a framework that works. If your framework, right now, my friends, if it's like, hey, and I might be there a year, 2 years, I wouldn't buy it. But if you're going to be there 5, 10 years, absolutely. Find a house you like. And you can use that language with people. Be honest. If everything's roses, they just can see through it. Like, oh, it's a great time to buy. Well, why? Okay, here's some reasons. It's a great time to buy. Well, tell me, how long are you going to be in the house? 5, 10 years? Yeah, okay, awesome. Great idea. 6 months, a year? Probably not. Go rent. Just be honest and say that to them. When they give you the 5, 10 years, say, okay, yeah, I think you're going to be in great shape. Imagine 20 years ago what the language I just gave, and you're going to be in good shape. Now, if you had said 6 months to me, I'd tell you not to buy because we don't know what's going to happen in 6 months. Be honest. Address the elephant in the room. They know it. They're aware of it probably, so you may as well address it. And then here's someone else mentioned this, and this was Kyle's chart that I stole and I love, which is everyone gets an orange line. This line here, everybody gets one. It just which one do you want? Do you want the renting orange line or do you want the owning orange line? And here's the idea: is the payments are if you rent, right? Your payments are going up every year. They rise however much San Diego says you're allowed to do it. In Arizona, where they let the free economy work, you can raise your rents however much you want. In Arizona, there is no rent ceiling. So you raise your payments, the payments on renters, they're going to keep paying more and more every single year. Rents don't go down, they go up. And your equity stays the same, 0. If you're a renter, your equity that line's flat. Over here in owning, your equity goes up over time, historically without fail, and your payment's flat. Which arrow would you rather have? That's just true. No matter what's happening, people were buying houses when interest rates were 18%. Why? Because of that. That's why. So that's always going to be true. The time frame changed. A year ago, if you said you were going to own the house for an hour, I would tell you to buy it. Now it's a couple years. So, but as long as it's for a while, this fundamental truth will always be there. This is a very powerful, thank you to Kyle for this, very powerful illustration. You should be drawing this out when you meet with your buyers. Hey, here's the thing. I know it's a little crazy out there. Interest rates are going up. I get it. Address the elephant. And it's a bummer. But here's the thing. This is universally true. And you walk it through, explain it to them. By the way, I'm giving you a lot. I'm going to give you way more than you could absorb today. You will not get all this. But we're recording it, which should be great. So I will get this to you guys as long as halfway through the thing here, I'm going to ask you for a little testimonial on how you thought today went, just so I have it all. And you can put your name and email in there. As long as we have that, or you registered for the event, not like your friend who brought you, but you, then you will get the recording. We'll get that sent over to you. So you guys can kind of meditate on some of these ideas. Okay, the process is the same with sellers. Why is now a good time to sell? Because I'm going to address sellers a little later, but I want to get you the fundamentals here, right? So the same is true with sellers, because we got to have a conversation with sellers based on what's going on and help them get motivated as well. So we may as well talk about it. Why is it a good time to sell? This may be a little. Prices are still high. Yep. What else? Inventory is still low. Absolutely, it is. Yep. It's like a month and a half, which it's low. Yes. Somebody saw a hand. Any other reasons why you should sell?
Are they buying?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, good question.
They're buying something else.
Yeah.
Then the rates will go higher.
Yep.
So I agree with you. The rates will be 80% by the
Yeah. Remember that terrifying line I showed you at the beginning, the Cromford Index that fell off a freaking cliff and is still falling? That's why. And I would pull that data out. Now that's all Arizona data. My San Diego team, I tell them use it. It's in our listing presentation. The Arizona data, because that Cromford Index is still true here. Even though the data is Arizona's data, it's still right. So do what you got to do to demonstrate to your people that what's happening is happening, so you can inform them, you can help them understand. So you want to help them see the light. Okay, so I'm going to show you a video of what this looks like. So what I just explained to you, those 4 things, why it's good to buy, why it's good to sell, you need to get those in your head in a succinct way. So where you could just go, hey, is now a good time to buy? You could just rattle off a 2-minute explanation of, yes, it is, here's why, or if in this circumstance, here's why. And then make a video. Let me see if this goes easy. Yes, OK, so here's a video I did. This is on Loom. Loom is free. It's a software that allows you to record your screen and you at the same time. Now, my team takes this and puts it on YouTube and thumbnails and all kind of cool stuff, right? You don't need to do any of that. You can just do it on Loom. It takes you literally 5 minutes. So created this video. Basically, I'm explaining, I'm doing what I did here. I'm showing a couple different charts, and I'm just doing it on my screen, giving a couple metrics that prove whatever I'm trying to prove. So in this case, that if you're a seller and you don't have a good reason to hang on to your house, you might want to consider selling now. And so I'm showing, hey, the price drops. I show that metric of like, we can track in the MLS how many price drops we've had, and that's gone up a ton lately. Like, I'm just using statistics to prove whatever point I'm trying to make. And so you make yourself a video just like that, and then let me show you where to put it. So you want to send it out to, if you don't have HomeBot yet, you should sign up for HomeBot. That's a fantastic program. And HomeBot updates everybody who is in your list, who has an address, every month on what their home price is worth, what their home value is. You can send out videos via HomeBot too. And your open rate will be much better in HomeBot than it is in any other way you send it. So HomeBot lets you, not only does its thing it does every month where it's automatic, but you can send a video. So I would plug this video into HomeBot, send it to everybody, not just buyers, sellers, not just sellers, but everybody. I'll let them know what's going on. Text and email to prospects. This would be a really, really great thing for you to send to any leads you have. Prospects you've been in the funnel. Someone you talked to a year ago who's like, dude, sell my house? Are you crazy? It'll be worth $1.1 million next year. Send it hey, just did this quick update. Things are changing quickly. They don't know, very few people know to the level that you do now what's going on with the marketplace. Like what I just explained to you, 1% of Americans know that, not even. So this will be news to them. So hey, just did this urgent update, red flashing light emoji, right? Like send it to them, shoot them a text message. Want to make sure you're aware of this. Send it to all your seller prospects, people you've been working in your pipeline, and then post it on social. Update on social. I've been doing this more lately. I posted some stuff this morning on my Facebook of like, I was like, dang, I need to start telling people this because this is news they're not going to be aware of yet. It's a good time to be the front runner. Like if you're saying stuff ahead of everyone else and you know you're right, like this scenario, then it makes you look good in the long run. High Note, if you don't have High Note, you can get High Note at, so there's Daniel. You can get High Note at johnglotch.com/High Note, and you can sign up there. And this is a great program for pre-sell packages. I'm not going to go into High Note. It's a really great program that allows you to, if you're having an appointment with someone, set the table. You send them this great presentation that tells all about how great you are. It's a great program. I'm not going to get into it, but you would send it on High Note. If you know what that is, that's great. And here's Daniel, who's in the room. He's great. He says hi. He's great at using High Note. And so throughout this thing, I want to make sure you know this isn't just my ideas. This stuff's working. So I'm going to give you some testimonials along the way of people, most of them in the room, who are doing well at this. So Daniel here, High Note's been a game changer for me. I'm a brand new agent, and I'm young. So establishing my credibility with potential clients is especially important to me. Sending a well put together pre-sale package shows clients I'm a pro, sets me apart from the competition, and has helped me to get to more than 10 million in sales in my first 10 months as an agent. Pretty good. Pretty good. Way to go, man. 10 million in 10 months.
Lets them know who I am when I come up.
Yep.
It's no more me text them, I'm the dude in the black shirt.
Yeah. It's
Tall guy, watch out.
yeah. Yeah, now he's not just the scary ex-cop, you know. He's like, he's legit. So High Note does a good job of positioning you. If you don't have that, check out, again, johngotch.com/High Note. That'll get you that. Oh, yeah, here you go. That's that to get that. And I've got all my templates in there too. So I got a video on how it works. You can sign up there and get that program. I forget how much it costs. It's not crazy, but it's a really great program. So I would check that out. Okay, how to keep active buyers in the game. So you got a buyer, and okay, you got them motivated. You've kind of walked them through this stuff. Okay, how are we going to get them in the game? First of all, the buyer book. Okay, I left it in the other room. Anyone have a buyer book on them handy? Claire does. There we go. Why don't you hold that up so people know what we're talking about? That's our buyer book right there. It's awesome, and I have spent, I don't know, a bajillion hours making that thing. Working so hard, always constantly iterating, changing with the market, all that other stuff. So the buyer book, and I've got an EXP branded one that is ready to rock in Trainual. So if you're with me at EXP, you can log in to Trainual, and if you don't see that in your Trainual, email Ashley. She will give you the right login for that. It's our Glutch Group agent one. So there's like a full thing on, we've got the buyer book that she showed is Glutch Group oriented, but we have one that's generic, so anybody can use it. No graphic design changes needed. It's really great. So let me talk a little bit about that. Actually, hang on. Tell you what, let's do a 2-minute break, 3 minutes, and you go pee-pee and get yourself a water and come right back. So that buyer book that Claire held up, so that I'm going to go through some slides that are going to have screenshots of that buyer book. And again, that's all if you're with our group, you're welcome to check that out in Trainual. It's all ready to go for you. And if not, you can just replicate the ideas. That's fine. You get the big picture here. So the first thing is, we're trying to keep our buyers in the game. So you get them. That's the goal here, right? Keep them going. Once you've got them rocking, how do you how do you get them to make an offer, right? Back to that our original idea, which is that the agent that can get buyers to make offers will win. How do you do that? This is how. So first of all, you want to have the weekly inventory maximizer meeting. That's what we've called it. Call it whatever you want. And the idea of this is to have a regular meeting with your buyers, either at houses, you're showing them homes, or on Zoom or phone or whatever, right? You want to have some kind of meeting. You got to have a plan to connect with these people on a weekly basis and walk through a couple things with them. So this is in the buyer book. So the buyer book is kind of designed, the first 6 or 8 pages is designed to sell you as the agent on why people should be working with you. And then it gets to this page, which is now we're going to get the buyer going. So this is the stuff we're going to go over to help the buyer get going on their process. Like, okay, now you want to work with me. You've signed the VIP buyer agreement. We're going to go over that in a little bit. You want to work with me. How do we work together in a meaningful way? And this is the meeting we want to have every week. I'm talking to my agents here especially, because you guys are my family, my people. If you would commit to every buyer you have, meeting with them in some meaningful way once a week, your career will change forever. It'll change forever. And you've just got to decide you're going to do it. It goes how you say it goes, right? Like whatever that's what the buyer knows is what you tell them. So, hey, we're going to meet every week. So this is right up front. We're going to have our weekly inventory maximizer meeting. You call it something. That way it sounds cool. It sounds like, great, we're going to maximize the inventory. That sounds awesome. And so you're going to talk through, and some of this is from the crazy appreciation, but that's okay. You could still keep this in there. So we're going to talk about what the appreciation is. So before, the motivation was like, hey, every week we're losing like 10 grand a week that you don't buy a house, right? That's going away. So that's not as motivating. But we want to connect with people in a meaningful way regardless. And so this just explains, here's what we're going to do. We're going to review off-market properties. We're going to get feedback on whatever it is that you're seeing so that I know more about what you're looking for in a home, recalibrate around your goals, and then we're going to set the next appointment. So we're never going to leave an appointment without another appointment. So, okay, this is Tuesday at 3 o'clock work for you. We'll do that. Great. So every single time you meet with your buyers, you're setting up another appointment. And here's what you're doing at that meeting. You're going to be a market maker. And I've got this on my website, how to find off-market properties. You can check that out. This is a great system for finding off-market properties. I'm not going to go into that today, but I've got it on my website, johngotch.com. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to be a market maker. Find other areas or home styles that they might like. Maybe there's, I don't know, they're dead set on Coronado, and you're like, I don't know if you checked out La Jolla, whatever, right? So help them expand their horizons a little bit. That might be a not always, but that might be a possibility. So at that meeting, that's one thing you're going over is, hey, I know we're not finding anything in wherever, but have you considered this? You're the expert. You should know all about all kind of different parts of town, whatever. Maybe they really have to have a 4-bedroom, but here's this one over here that's a 3-bedroom, but you could add a 4th, you could do an ADU, whatever. You're trying to expand their horizons, help them see the possibilities that they may not yet be seeing. Find better loan products. Again, thanks to Kyle. I don't think he's in here right now, but he turned me on to, what is it? What's the credit union called, Tyler? San Diego? Mission Fed. Mission Fed is doing adjustable rate mortgages right now with insane rates, like in the 2s and 3s. Now you got to get an adjustable rate mortgage, which I'm not going to go into all that, but I have one on my house, and I'm not going to live in my house forever, so I have a 10-1 ARM, which there's no way I'll be in my house for 10 years. I just know myself. I've moved like every 2 years my whole life. So if you can talk to your client about, hey, we can take you from 6 to 3 because I know about this Mission Fed credit product that they didn't know about, that'd be worth talking about. Hey, how long do you think you're going to be in this house? I don't know, 3 years? Okay, let me show you this 5-1 ARM. And if you don't know, if you don't have that contact, email Ashley and she can get you that contact information. And they're busy as heck, as you can imagine, because they're the best loan product in town, and it's not going to last forever. They have a certain amount of money they're committing to this project, and it's eventually going to run out. Great sense of urgency for your clients. Hey, listen, I got you a 3.5% interest rate. That is 3 points less than everybody else is getting. But if you don't buy a house in the next month, these are gone. That's pretty cool. That would be a valuable thing to say at your inventory maximum meeting, right? Okay, set a maximum. For you to do this, you got to. How many people could you do this with? I don't know, not 100. I heard Brian Danny, who's Dan Beer's top sales guy, who did 80 or 100 million last year on his own, say he only works with 12 buyers. He's got 12 in his pipeline, period. And if he gets 13, he figures out which one of the 13 is the worst, hands them to whoever he hands them to, ISA or whatever it is, right? So you should have that too. It'll force you to work with better people. So you set some number. What's your maximum? Maybe your team leader has one that you set for you, but if not, you need to set your own. And go, okay, I'm only working with 12 people, and those 12 people I will meet with every single week. And if they're not willing to do that, I'll find someone who is. I'll keep looking. That'll change your career. Go look at houses to get better feedback. So, hey, listen, we're not finding what you like. Let's go look at some things. Let's just go. I know these aren't perfect. These are the best ones I can find. Maybe they're not perfect. That's okay. Let's go look at a few homes because what I want to do is be educated as your agent to help you do a better job finding properties for you. We got all these off-market houses, all this other stuff. But if I don't know what you like, I can't find those for you. So let's just go see some homes. Just get them in the car. Get them going. Get some motion, some movement going. Right? That might be a good use of your time. Show your buyers that all you're doing. So along the way, you want to be demonstrating what you're doing. And I'm going to give you some specific examples of how to do that in a minute. But at this meeting would be a good time to do that too. Hey, I sent this text to these 5 people. I spent an hour on this website looking for off-market. I checked Zillow to see if there were any for sale by owner properties that might be a fit for you. And here's what I got. Even if they're not perfect, show them what you did find. Hey, here's the 3 I found on Zillow. What do you I know this doesn't quite fit, but I just want to make sure I don't want to presume too much. That shows that you're in the game, you're hustling. Maybe they don't buy a house that month, or maybe even that quarter or that year. But if you do a good job at this meeting for 3, 4, 5 weeks that they're like, yeah, they're in the game, then maybe they give up. Like this happened to me. I was looking at houses in Lake Arrowhead, my wife and I. Wanted to buy a vacation home. Then it got too frothy, we bailed. We were like, nah, I'm not going to do it. But that agent busted her ass. Like, I'll never use anybody else. So eventually we are going to buy a house up there when the market falls to crap, and she'll be our agent. You know, there's no question about it. Make sure you do that. Even if they don't buy, play the long game, okay? Never leave an appointment without another one. If there's one thing you hear today, it's that one. You should never have an appointment with someone without an appointment. Again, back to Jim's point, that appointment may be a year from now. Okay, yeah, we're going to sit this out. We just rented, we just got a lease done. Okay, great. So is there a way to break your lease if you need to? So this is literally the conversation I would have. Someone told me that. Let's say they told me today, there's an active buyer. They're like, hey, we just decided to sign a lease. We don't want to get in the game. Okay, great. Are you able to break the lease if you need to? And they probably won't know. Say, hey, why don't just check and find out. It'd be good for you to know anyways. And that way I'm aware that if I find you a deal that nets you out way more than that, I should call you. Right? Maybe it costs $1,000, $5,000 to break the lease. So okay, great. If I find I know what you're looking for. If I find you a house that's like exactly what you're looking for and it's 50 grand under market, should I give you a call? Because they just figured out their lease costs $5 grand to break? That's a valuable conversation to have. And then you're setting the next appointment, which is like, okay, if I don't find you that, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a call in 6 months, just check in, make sure you're happy, see how things are going, see if anything's changed. So you're setting an appointment. It's just far away. But that's okay. You're making sure you set the appointment. Now, So important. I picked this up on our, we have a mastermind every single Monday on Zoom, like 300-400 people get on there. It's incredibly good. And I picked up this idea, and I knew this, but the way somebody said it, just a switch flip for me of like, it just made this meeting so much more valuable for you guys because I heard that idea. And it's this, you want to leverage your buyers to get a listing. So some of you are like, I got to meet with my buyers every week and then go out there and try and hunt for properties for them that don't even exist on the MLS? Yes, that's exactly what you have to do. And don't just do that. Walk around town with this buyer you have, metaphorically, and use that buyer to find yourself a seller. Because what do buyers want? Not you. They'd sell without you if they could. They want a buyer. And you got one right here in your pocket that you're working with. You're meeting with every single week. Don't let that go to waste. Use that to get yourself some listings. Who would like more listings in here? Yeah. So this is bonus. I'm going to talk about how to get listings in a minute, but this is like super duper extra bonus material here. So here's what you're going to want to do. Post buyer needs on social media, write letters to neighbors. I'm going to go through these specifically. So you do this. So I posted this yesterday. It's exactly what I posted. I just screenshot it. The market's down. Thinking of cashing in and selling your rental house. We've got a buyer looking for 3 rentals with tenants. Do we have a buyer looking for 3 rentals? I don't know, kind of. Sure. For the right price? Yeah. I just made that crap up, man. Here's the thing. I got 4 DMs, people with houses to sell. 2 of them are agents, 2 of them are sellers. Don't have an agent. 1 post. That's an idea I got from the mastermind Monday. If you're at our group at EXP and you're not on that mastermind, you are missing out. You got to show up. It's incredible. Every Monday, 10 a.m. Got to go. If you're not with us at EXP, it's an exclusive event that we do at our group, but we can bring guests. So if you want to come, I'll show you how to do that, how to get an invite to that. It's spectacular. And I got that exact idea and posted it and got 4 DMs in 1 day. So make sure you're leveraging. What you're doing is you're leveraging. Now you have a real buyer, right? So what would you do instead of this? Get a picture of them. Just get their permission. Hey, I mean, it's even better if they know about it, right? I just told you, you want to prove to your buyers how hard you're working for them. Yeah, you should ask their permission. So, yeah, she's laughing like, yeah, duh, you should probably get their permission. What I mean is, if you tag them and have this picture instead of that be a picture of them, get them to be funny or whatever, if they're cool with that, like, you know, like they're like, where's my house, whatever, something like that. Get a picture of them, post it, meet Jennifer and whoever. They're looking for a 3-bedroom, whatever. Do you know anybody who might have something to sell? We're trying desperately. We can't find it. Tell a good story. Do you have anybody? Does anyone know of anyone who might have a house like that? Could we help solve their problem, right? Like I'd spend some time thinking about this. I spent 7 or 8 minutes writing that. Looks like 2 sentences and a couple emojis. No. That took some time. I am not that smart. My dumb mind had to spend plenty of time thinking about that. But the truth is, your copywriting skills will get you so much more traction. The fact that I spent that time is because I wanted it to be a picture like that, and it can only be so long. If it gets too long, now it's just like a normal post, and I didn't have a good picture for it, like a family. So I needed it to be an image like that, so I had to figure out what emojis would communicate the ideas, and I was specific. I didn't just say I got a buyer who needs, buyer needs a house. I was really specific. Guess what messages I got from people? People who owned properties with tenants. And all 4 messages were that. And it's because I spoke to a specific thing in their heads. Like it doesn't work if it's just like, hey, I'm looking for a good restaurant today. I don't know, you're like, but hey, I'm looking for something in North Point or in Point Loma, and I want it to be like seafood, and it's okay if it's expensive. What's the best place? Your places come right to mind. So you got to be really specific with the way you communicate these things. But do it. Share it on social, okay? So be specific. Use punchy language. Think about it. Don't just write. Copyright it. Spend some time on it. And then show your buyers. Tag them. So now they see you're working for them. You're out there hustling. That's important. Half that, like today, I was like, I got home and our maid was there to clean the house, but all there's crap all over the house. You know how you got to clean your house before the cleaner comes to clean your house, right? Well, that didn't happen. And my wife and my kids are gone. I come home and the maids are like, I don't know what to do here. So I really quickly put a bunch of stuff away. Guess what the first thing I did after that is? Text my wife. Told her hey, just cleaned up the house. Don't worry about it. Wanted to make sure the maids could get it clean. Why did I tell her that? Because I'm always marketing to my wife how great I am. She doesn't know how great I am. I got to tell her. I can't just assume that she's wandering around. I bet John's doing awesome stuff for me right now. That's sure as shit not what she's thinking. She needs some help remembering how great I am. I am constantly communicating to her how awesome I am. You got to do that with your buyers. You got to absolutely be communicating. You do this with sellers too. I'm just doing the buyer part right now. Okay, so show them side benefits is you're showing your followers how busy you are. This kind of stuff reminds people you're in the game, that you're selling houses. Even if they don't have an answer for you, that's okay. I don't know, some of you in the room probably saw this post, didn't have anybody for it, but you saw it. So it reminds you that I sell houses, that I'm in the game. And I'm not even, like, I don't produce anymore. I don't have any buyers, right? Like our team does though. So those of you who are executing on this, you're actually salespeople, which is most of you, this is even more important for you. So little tip, but man, I'm telling you, this will work. Like these little strategies make a big difference. Okay, leverage your buyer to get a listing, write a letter. Here's a letter, super, super simple. My buddy Jason he's in Nashville. He's like, hey, I just sent this letter, dude, worked great. I got like 20 leads or something. I'm like, oh, dude, awesome, send me the letter. And I'm expecting some like cool, really thoughtful, nope, this. Dear first name, would you be interested in selling your home at whatever to a client of mine? If so, call my cell phone. Thanks, Jason. Like 18 leads on that. I think it's just 300 people. So crazy response rate. I'm like, okay, yeah, simple stuff works, right? And when you send this text message to your buyers, hey, just shot this out today. I'll let you know if anything comes up. Hoping we can find you something. Demonstrating to them the value that you provide.
And here's a $10 gift card.
Yeah, sure. And hey, go. I know it's stressful. You know, trying to buy a house. Go get a Starbucks on me. Whatever. Great. Absolutely. Yeah, Lynette's got, her clients are like, every one of them becomes her best friend. And it's because she's just so thoughtful and she thinks of stuff like that. It's great. Absolutely. And post it on social, by the way, also. Hey, just sending this letter out today. Let me know if you know anybody. To communicate it to your followers as well. Okay, door knock. Same thing, right? If you want to go door knock, you've got that kind of time on your hands? Okay, great. Let me tell you, this is not something we do a lot of, but if you want to, let me at least give you a script. Someone asked me today, Jen, I was meeting with earlier, she said, hey, if you're doing an open house, would you door knock? And the answer is probably not, but if you're going to and you've got the time, I would use a script very similar to this, anytime you're door knocking. So hey, I have a great couple, have a specific person in mind. So if it was an open house, you'd say, hey, listen, I'm sitting this house open over here. I had some buyers come through last Saturday. That house doesn't work for them. They really need something like 6 months from now, maybe a year from now. They're not quite ready, but they love this neighborhood. Do you know anyone in the neighborhood looking to sell? That's the script I would use if it was an open house door. Because you got to like communicate why it makes any, and oh, by the way, if you want to come to the open house, it'll be 3 to 5 today. We'd love to have you come by. That's the script. If it wasn't an open house, it's very similar. I have a great couple, Jack and Diane Smith, who are dying to be in this neighborhood. Do you know anyone who might be open to selling? That script I got from Dan Beer, and it was a great one because you're not coming straight at them with, do you want to sell your house? That's kind of a confrontational question. This is not confrontational at all. It gives them a much easier out if they just don't want to talk to you. And if they do want to sell, of course, they're going to do the math on, well, yeah, me, I don't know anyone, but I want to. They'll figure it out, right? So, and then give them that letter. So if you're going to do this, print out the letters and just leave it with them. Hey, here's the deal, right? Here's the story. So you can mail the letter or you can door knock and deliver it. Don't door knock empty-handed ever. And don't give them your business card. Like, what does any seller want? A buyer. Not you, not the realtor. They want a buyer. So make sure you hand them the buyer. Here's the story and how you get to the buyer. Reminder, show your buyers that you're doing all this and post it on social. So if you're door knocking, you know, Instagram story, whatever, like, hey, I'm out doing my thing. All right. Okay, email your database. Here's a great email script if you want to drum up some business. This works better if you have some sort of sense of like where people live. So like Coronado sellers, Coronado buyers. If you could pair those people, that's even better. The more specific, but most of us don't have that tight of a database. So this will work generically too. Hey, good morning. I'm working on a home buyer relocating. This is a friend of mine I took this from. Relocating into Madison from Indiana due to a job transfer. Their home in Indiana closed on Friday, blah, blah, blah. Here's the story. Here's the catch. They need a fenced backyard for the 2 dogs. So you send this to a neighborhood, or, email this to people who are in neighborhoods with fenced yards. Do you know anyone with a fenced yard who may be interested in selling? So you can email people too. It doesn't have to be a snail mail. Okay, another way to do it. You guys that get asked this question, how's business? What's going on with the market? Whatever. How's life? You know, like, especially guys, I feel like 80% of our answer, if like we're hanging out with other dudes, like, hey, how's it going? You're going to go straight to your career. That's going to be your answer. Because God forbid you show your feelings to anybody, right? So you're going to talk about your business. That's what I do. Keeps me safe. So I'm going to talk, I don't want to talk about my terrible childhood, okay? No, I had a great childhood. Dad, if you're listening, it was great. So I would say this. Things are crazy, even with the increase in rates. I'm still having trouble finding a home for a buyer of mine. They're looking for, again, be specific, they're looking for something under 700 with at least 3 bedrooms, south of Encinitas. That's a pretty broad net, right? But it's specific enough to get the mind going. It can't just be, I got a buyer who needs a house. Do you know anyone who might be interested in cashing in on the recent appreciation and selling? That's a good answer to how's business or how's the market. Don't just answer the question. Ask for a referral. You didn't ask for a referral directly. You came about it from the side door, which is a much better, like I love Brian Buffini, awesome dude, and he's taught me a lot of stuff, but like, oh, by the way, I'm never too busy for your referrals. Well, okay. There's so many things wrong with that language, it's crazy. If you can come at it with specific things, and coming from contribution of like you're helping educate them along the way, it's just so much better, so much better. So, good language for that. Okay, all right, great. So it's one of the top agents on my team. He's in Arizona. I can't tell you how many closings I've had with clients who fired their previous agent for not following up with them. So this is, I want to convince you that meeting with your buyers weekly is a valuable exercise, because all that stuff I just showed you, half of you are still not going to do this, more than half. So let me try to get you one more push over the edge of like, I'm not wrong, this works. So here's Garrett, top buyer agent on my team. How many closings I've had with previous agent for not following up. The most recent one was a $3.2 million buyer who came to me explaining that his last agent had only sent him 3 homes to view. Using our inventory maximizer system, I had that buyer in escrow 2 weeks later. You're crazy if you don't set up a system like ours. Sold 32 homes last year. And here's a review, different client, but a review that he did. Decided to ditch the first realtor we tried with another company after a few bad experiences. We turned to Google and found the Glutch Group had the most 5-star reviews in the area. After working with them, I can tell you the 5 stars are legit. Garrett was our realtor and he was a true professional. Him and his team were always extremely prompt and responsive. I appreciated how he gave me straightforward answers with no flair or sales pitch. Garrett's extremely experienced professional, and it was those 2 qualities that ultimately won us the deal and allowed my wife and I to buy our forever home in Mesa. Thank you, Garrett and team, for everything. So that guy had a realtor, switched to us. That happens all the time, all the time. So this may sound sort of basic. People aren't doing it. Most of you aren't doing it. So all my team has to do to beat you is meet with their buyers once a week. So if you can just start that, I'm telling you, it'll change everything. You guys with me?
Yep.
You gonna meet with your buyers?
Sure.
Is this valuable?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, how would you like to get paid more? Remember how I showed you all the buyer fees going down? That's no fun. What if you could get 3% on every single deal? My team for a long time got 3.5% on most of our deals before the market got crazy. We'll get back there. I thought it was going to take a year or 2. Might only take a month, but we'll get back there. So as the market softens, your opportunity to earn more commissions will increase. Do you deserve to earn more? If you do all that crap I just said, yeah, you do. Absolutely, you should get paid more. Should Garrett get paid more than the agent who he took that buyer from? For sure. He got it done. He got the job done. He did the work. He did the things that, and it's insane to me that some buyer's agent let a $3.2 million buyer go, but they did. So can you get more? Yes. Here's the average buyer commissions. This is in the buyer book. So part of the buyer book is I want the client to understand that fees are going down. Do they care that I get paid less? Of course not. Everybody only cares about themselves. So why would I show them this? Well, because what I want to communicate to them is, listen, buyer's agents, the fees that sellers are offering buyers is going down. In fact, here's several that are 0. So the problem is most agents out there are not going to show you these houses that are, why would they show you a house that's going to pay them nothing? They're not going to do that. So they're going to filter out. They're going to just send you the houses that have the most commission for them to gain, right? That makes sense. They got to feed their family, right? I'm not mad at them for that. It's just what's happening. And so what we've done to remove that as a problem is we don't want to do that. We want to only show you the houses where we got paid enough. And so what we've done as a solution is we've created our VIP buyer agreement. And I will walk through. That one shouldn't be in there. Oh, you know what? I'm going. Hold on, the slides are out of order. Let me get to the right one. Here we go. So, okay, so this is the slide I was talking about. This is in the buyer book. So I go through that pitch. Here's the problem with the industry. You're not going to see all the houses. And what we've done to solve this problem is we've created our VIP buyer agreement. And so our VIP buyer agreement works like this. And this is a sales document, right? This is not, I'm never going to sue anybody because they didn't use us to buy a house. I'm never going to sue anyone because we didn't get paid enough money, because they found a house with us and used some. I'm never going to do that, ever. So I don't need some legal contract. What I need is a sales document that is a paper handshake. We're all in this together. And that's what this is. So I'm just giving you guys the language. That's not what I would say at a meeting, but that's what I'm communicating. So here's how the buyer agreement works. And I'm kind of walk them through the basics. Hey, here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to help you find a great lender. We're going to show you houses. We're going to do all this. This is all the basics, right? But then we get to our guarantees. So we have a commission-backed guarantee. And that is, I'm going to talk to you like I'm talking to buyers. Okay, so we have a 100% commission-backed guarantee. And the way that works is if at any point, most agents, you hire them, you don't know if they're any good or not, and you actually don't even find out until it's too late. You find out, you close the deal, they got their money, and they were terrible, right? So we wanted to remove that as a possibility. So what we've done is our commission-backed guarantee. If for any reason, at any time with no strings attached, you're not happy with how this goes, up until the day we close, you let me know and we'll give you the commission. I'll earn nothing, you get to take the commission home. We're that committed to your service and to making sure that you have a great experience. Does that sound fair? And they're going to be like, oh, that's incredible. So we explain that. We talk about our buyer satisfaction guarantee. If you don't love your home, we will sell it for you for free. I'm shortcutting this because I want to get to my main point, which is about getting our fee. And then we have our cancellation guarantee. Listen, if you're not happy with working with me at any time, you can just cancel this agreement. If you want to go find some other realtor, it turns out your mom becomes a realtor, great. You can use her. You just cancel this. No penalties, no fees. Okay? Now, here's how we get paid. And the language on this right now is at 2.5%, but we will raise that to 3% and then eventually higher. And I just want my agents to get used to signing it when it's easy, 2.5%. And the language right now says, hey, so here's, and this is, if I was explaining to a buyer, I'd say it this way. Hey, so here's the thing. We get paid by the seller of the property, 2.5% of the purchase price of the home. That's how we get paid as real estate agents. And as I said, some agents aren't paying 2.5%, maybe they're paying 2% or even 0%, right? What we're going to do is when we make an offer, we're going to negotiate for the seller to pay our fee because we want to show you all the properties, not just some. And so what we'll do is when we make this offer, we're going to talk to the list agent, we're going to talk to the seller, and we're going to get them to pay the difference. So if they're only offering 2%, our fee is 2.5%, we're going to get that half point made up by the seller. The market's getting a lot softer, a lot more houses on the market. It's a lot easier to do than it used to be. It's not going to come out of your pocket ever. If for any reason we can't negotiate that when we make the offer, we'll just take the hit. We'll take what we can get. We don't want you to pay for it. That's the way it's written now. As my agents get better and better at this, we'll just stop there. It'll just say, hey, we're going to negotiate from the seller. If the seller won't pay it, then that'll just come out of your closing costs, just like your lender fees and your title fees. That's how we would say it as we get better and better at this. But now the way it's worded is if for some reason the seller won't pay it, we'll take it in the shorts. We'll get beat on that. It's because I want it to be easy to sign initially. So that's the simple story. Let me kind of walk you through the mechanics of this. All right, does everyone get the philosophy so far? Okay, so critical elements of this is one, you got to have the conversation. If you have the agreement, that's better, but the only reason I'm doing this is so my sales team knows what to say. But this doesn't even really matter. Like, this is just a piece to remind them to have the conversation. Because if you don't have the conversation, then when you're making the offer, it's not going to work. Like, you have to have talked about this before you're making an offer. Really, really critical. All right, let me go back here. So how do you do this? And then I'll go back to what I just skipped. So your buyer's on board. They're like, okay, sure, dude, yeah. So you're telling me the seller is never going to come out of my pocket? Yes. Okay, yeah, sure, great. Sign it, commission back guarantee, all that stuff, right? There's no risk for them. Why wouldn't they sign that, right? So we get that signed. Now your buyer's on board. How do you collect your fee? Let me walk you through the mechanics of this. And there's a couple things that I've really recently figured out, and I think that are really going to help us get a lot more money for our buyer's agents. So let me start with this. First of all, easiest place to get the money is from the listing agent. Listing agents like me, I hate to break it to you. Me and my greedy listing agent team, we are listing houses at 6% and offering 2%. We are keeping 4%. I know, some of you hate me now. You're going to throw a javelin at any moment. You're going to walk out there. I get it. But here's the thing. I got a whole big team, an army of people, and all this crap we're doing, and we got tons of expenses and whatever. And I like going on nice vacations. So we're charging more money. So we're going to offer as little as possible to get that house sold. That is the free market. That's how it works, right? And that's not going to change. Like, I don't think it's not going to change for my team. I don't think it's going to change for many teams. And a lot of listing agents in here are doing the exact same thing. So that's not going to change. And our goal is not for things to be fair. So we're not trying to make it all equitable. That's not in my business plan. Like, make sure I take care of all the other buyer's agents I don't know. Not in the business plan, okay? Just being real. May as well talk about the elephant in the room. Jim, Kyle, can I get an amen?
Oh, amen, brother.
Yeah, there we go. All right. So here's the thing. Easiest place to get the money is out of me. I'm already making 4%. We don't always get them at 6. Maybe it's 5.5, 5, whatever. I don't know. We do the best we can. Depends on the price point. But I've got some meat on the bone. My house is, maybe I got a listing that my listing agent was a little too aggressive on the price, didn't do a good job setting expectations. The seller's pissed. The house hasn't sold. It's been almost a week. Oh my God. And you call me and you say, John, listen, bro, you're offering 2%. I got a buyer I'm working with. They're amazing. They love the house. They'd be interested in making an offer, but I've got an agreement with them that they're going to pay me 2.5%. And they don't want to write that out of their write a check out of their pocket for that. Would you give me 2.5%? My listing agent would say, yep. I'll send over the email. That's what would happen. Not always, but often. So first place to start is ask the listing agent. You can hash this out before you even make the offer, ideally before you even show the house. Here's a script for that. I have a great client, and again, this is ideal if it's before you show the house. I have a great client, and this is like very valuable phone calls. I've been coaching my team on this. Like, you should be making these phone calls. Every house you show, you should be calling the listing agent. Hey, how many offers do you have? None. Oh man, whew. Gotten a little slower over there, because what that agent is in their mind is thinking is like, I might lose this listing. It's been 6 days. You know, like they're terrified. Things are crazy, right? So you now have a buyer. All of a sudden you became all you buyer's agents who like, you know, us listing agents were treating you like garbage. All of a sudden we're like, great, oh, buyer's agent, sure, amazing. Can I send over cookies, right? You've got a buyer, wonderful. So this is changing for you. You now have a lot more control. And so what you want to do, hey, how's it going? Oh, yeah, no offers yet. But our script would be, but we got a lot of showing, a lot of activity, whether that's true or not. That's what we would say. Like, oh, man, yeah, I know the market's really slowing down. I'm sorry to hear you don't have any offers yet. I've got a buyer that's not exactly in their search criteria, but I happen to see your listing looking for somebody else, and I think it might be a fit for them. I'd love to show it to them. And what you're subtly communicating there is like, my buyer, like your buyer didn't just send you this listing and say, I want to go see it, which may have been what happened. And if you want to say that, that's, you know, just say it a little differently, that's fine. You could just kind of leave out this part, but the language I like is I'd like to add it to my route today to see if it might be a fit for them. I think it might, but I see here you're offering 2%. I charge 2.5%. That's what I've got an agreement with my buyer. And I wanted to see if you'd be willing to send over, I always forget what's it called, the CB, whatever. CBD at 2.5%. I'd love to add it to my list. Would that be okay? And you just use this language right here, and half the time they'll say yes. I don't know, half the time. A lot of times. If you get some pushback, then you go to this. So, and you keep it that simple. Just do that. Very, very simple. If you get pushback, go here. I totally understand. So they say, no, listen, I took the listing at 5%, or I took the listing at 4%, or whatever. I'm only making 1%, and I had to pay for foot, whatever they say, right? They come up with their excuse of why they can't do that. Okay, hey, I totally understand, and I'm not trying to take money out of your pocket or even your seller's pocket. I'm just trying to get the fee financed into the loan. Why don't you just send over an email or CVB here, confirming that the 2.5% or 3%, whatever you're asking for. And then if we send over an offer, and I really think this one might work for my client, you can just let your seller know to counter at whatever price nets them what they want. Just adjust your counteroffer accordingly so that you and your seller get the number you need. Does that work for you? So you're communicating to them, hey, dude, I'm not trying to take your money or your seller's money. Just counter whatever you need to counter, right? So you worked out with your seller, you were going to charge 4% on this listing. Great, good for you, whatever. But now it's going to be 4.5%. Just let them know that. And all I'm trying to do is finance this into the loan. Right? My buyer doesn't want to write a check for this. So if we just put it into the loan, you just change the cushion, it's fine. Now it's not coming out of my buyer's pocket. It's not coming out of your pocket, your seller's pocket. Everybody's happy. This is not going to work 100% of the time, but it'll work, I don't know, 70% if you get good at the language. You should be role-playing this, practicing this with a friend, practicing this with a team, doing something to where you get the language just as rolls off your tongue. Who's been trying this? How's it going? Yeah, Jim. Anybody else? Anybody who's not Jim been trying this? Claire? Okay, give me the good and the bad, because it's real world here. I know it doesn't always work.
So my first time trying it was like when we kind of started to realize as a team this was becoming more of an issue.
Yeah.
I had no script, and I just went in and just like, hey, like we're gonna offer, but like, can I up the commission? Like it's low, and like whatever. And the agent was just like, no.
Yeah.
It was just done in conversation. I was like, okay, got it. Like, listing agent was not really responsive to it.
Yep.
I then now am kind of working on offering on another home, and the commission is actually 1.5%.
Okay.
So super low.
Yep.
And it's kind of been sitting for a minute. They have no other offers, and so I kind of started coming in with the script here.
Yeah.
Being like, hey, I think my buyers want an offer, but 1.5 is really low, and I have an agreement with my buyer, and
Yep.
seemingly I think it's going to work out.
There we go.
So,
Yeah. And the scripts are in Trainual, or you'll get these once I get the video done. So, great, way to go. That one you just wrote up, Daniel, did you call on this, or were they offering what you want?
They just accepted in the hallway. So we're good.
Hey, there you go, good deal. Did you negotiate a higher fee?
No, it was 2.5. I was happy.
Okay, all right, well, whatever.
I'm part of the problem.
Yeah, you're part of the problem. At least you know it, at least you're aware. So this, you don't even need a buyer agreement to do this. This is just trying to get money on a listing agent. You should do this all the time. I don't care what it is, you should be trying to get a quarter point more. If it's 3, ask for 3 1/4. Like, why would you not try this? And here's the thing, even if you have no shot, at least you're practicing. You're getting your reps out, right? On the ones that it doesn't count, it doesn't matter. You're like, I'm happy with 2.5, still try. Because maybe you get a quarter point higher, awesome. Or maybe you don't, and you got to practice on one where it didn't really matter. That way, when you get to the 1.5 one, they're offering nothing, you've got some reps, right? Like, I'm telling you, if you're not making this call on every single showing, you're crazy. There is no better use of your time. You will never earn more dollars per hour, ever, in your life, than this phone call. I'm telling you. Yes, Jared.
If you're not going to ask your lender to do it, for some reason, listing agents think lenders are non-biased
Yeah.
to the transaction. Like, literally, I've helped people do this exact same thing. Here,
Yeah.
like, what if this can be put together? I'm like, hey, just do this.
Yeah.
They already told me it's a done deal.
Yeah, so Jared, for the video, Jared's saying, hey, ask your lender to. Jared's an amazing lender. He does a lot more than most lenders for his buyers or for his agents, and he'll make the phone call. If you're not good on the phone, get someone who is. Have someone else call. Pull in the closer, you know? That's great. So I'm telling you, practice this. This is worth, you could just leave now and do only this, and you'll make an extra, I don't know, maybe 20%, 15% on your income this year.
So the first one I did, I prepped myself. I got all ready in the mirror, you're gonna ask for it. I'm Harris County, and I asked for it, and they were like, yeah, we'll send it over. It literally, sometimes it's just that easy.
Yep.
Just asking. And it made me think of all the 2%ers I had done prior. I never even brought it up.
Yeah.
Just ask.
That's great. I love it. Awesome. Okay, so when you're sending the offer to get signed, so let's say the listing agent says no can do, not going to work. You try, you get nowhere. Now this you need to have had a conversation with your buyer. You don't necessarily need to have a written agreement, but you need to have talked to your buyer about how you get paid for this to work. So now here's what you're going to do if you want to, and you got to check this language. This is specific language you would put in the contract. You got to check this with your lender and your title company, make sure, or escrow company, make sure they're happy with it. But email to the buyer. So as discussed on our VIP buyer agreement, my fee is 2.5. The seller of this home is already offering 2%. So all we're asking for is 1%. So the second option is to ask for a closing cost credit. So the listing agent says, no, we're not going to do it. Send over an offer and ask for 2% credit toward the buyer's closing costs. This used to happen all the time. It will happen again soon. And you're going to want to start doing this. Ask for 1 or 2% on every offer you make. And that's going to help cover some of the lender fees, some of the title escrow fees, and your fee. Get in the habit of this. This is what you do. Why would a buyer not want a credit, right? I mean, almost always they're going to want one. So you just get used to doing that, and part of that will cover your fee. So that's the language we send in the email offer. In the contract, it needs to explain that those seller closing cost credits can go toward your commission, so we bury it. So we say in the contract, seller concessions in Section 2J, this is Arizona, but it's the same in California for just different section, shall cover buyer's costs, including loan costs, prepaids, impounds, additional home warranty coverages, buyer agent fees. Snuck it right in there in the middle. Because what we don't want is the listing agent to go, wait, you're asking for you asked me for your fee, and now you're putting it in the thing. Some of them will still catch it, but very rare, very, very rare. And if they do, you go, yeah, dude, it's not a problem. Again, just counter your net, whatever you need to do. Prepaid HOA fees, I don't even know all this stuff, whatever. I don't even know what half that stuff is. We just wrote it as long as we could so we could bury it in the middle. Buyer agent credits, right? You just kind of wander out with a bunch of stuff and hope no one notices, you know? And that's only, the biggest people who will blow this up for you is lenders, actually. Lenders will just stick their noses where they don't belong. And they will get real, except for Jared, he would never do that. And then you gotta, and then this is important too, you do have to have a buyer broker agreement to collect on this. So when you make the offer, then send the actual buyer broker, the legal state one, in with the DocuSign, which you just explained to your buyer, here's what's happening, and make it cancelable. Just handwrite it, type in there. This is cancelable at any time with 3 days written notice. So that if for some reason they decide they want to go work with some other agent or whatever, they can. But for this deal, everybody knows this is what you're getting paid when that closing cost credit comes by. Okay, now, you got to make sure that your listing agent doesn't counter back with out the closing cost credits. They say, oh no, I'm just going to counter out the 1%. They send that over, and you're, oh, it's, they're going to send over like maybe you offer whatever. We'll make up a number, 500, and they counter back at like 510 and no closing cost credit, and your buyer's happy with the 510, but now the credit's gone, and so you're screwed. You don't want to have that awkward conversation with your buyer of like, well, but remember the credit, we really need to get you don't want to have that conversation. So avoid it by heading that off at the pass, and here's how you do that. Call the listing agent when you send the offer. This is also, by the way, how you get your title escrow company. If you, again, all the listing agents have all the power now, but if you're on a team where your agent, like me on my team, really wants to use our escrow company and our title company, you're going to have more control over that as the market softens. You're running the show as the buyer's agent now. How do you make sure that that doesn't get countered out? Here's how. You make it in a phone call. Hey, I'm about to send over a great offer. I just want to confirm that you still don't have any offers. Is that correct? Make sure you're still in charge here. Okay? Okay, great. You should have the email in your inbox, the offer in your inbox within an hour. I think you'll love the offer. Can you please do me a favor? And if your seller does decide to counter, can you call me before writing something up? I'd love to get this all hashed out verbally so that we can wrap this thing up with one single counter offer, and if we need one. Does that work for you? So you're just like, hey, dude, I don't want to go back and forth 19 counter offers. Call me. Let's figure this out. You send over one piece of paper, we sign it, we're good, right? Everyone can get on board with that. Especially as the market softens, there's that weird period where you're back and forth, and everyone's like kind of scared, is it still going to come together? Let's avoid that. Let's just do it all on one counter offer. So you call them verbally and you say that. Okay, great. As you're reviewing the offer, there are two things that are super important to my buyer. We ask for a 1% closing cost credit to help with some of their out-of-pocket costs, and that's super important to them, so please don't counter that out. They're trying to keep as much cash as possible so that they can, and whatever, get some new furniture, whatever you want to say. So they need that. Don't say remodel the house, because maybe the seller thinks their house is the greatest thing on earth, and oh my gosh, they're going to remodel it. Don't say that. Say new furniture, something like that. And please don't counter title escrow. My transaction coordinator handles like 30 files a month, and she gets testy when we have her bouncing all over Kingdom Come, working with every escrow officer in town. Does that sound fair? Right? So what I'm trying to do is lace language in there of like, why do they care? Like, I'm trying to give them a little bit of incentive of like, hey, dude, let's just get this done real quick. Me and you, not 19 counter offers. And oh, by the way, I'm going to need it to be my title and escrow company so we're not driving my TC crazy. Does that sound fair? And most people will say yes to that, and they will. If they send the counter, call them. You don't have to send it right to your client. You get the counter offer, they counter out your fee and your escrow company. Bummer. Pick up the phone. Hey, dude, I'm sorry. Maybe I didn't do enough job communicating this to you. They really do need this fee. And so I see you got this countered out, and that's not going to work for us. Can you please send it back with the fee kept in there? And if they're like, no, absolutely not, whatever, okay, it's not going to work every time, right? But most people, you get, oh, you're right, I'm so sorry, here, let me get that fixed, I'll send that back. A lot of times they'll just fix it. It is not your duty necessarily to just send everything that ever happens over to your client. If you can negotiate a better deal for them without them even having to be involved, it's fantastic. You're doing your fiduciary duty for them. That's great news. Okay, so, all right, that's a lot I just gave you. But do you get the idea here? So remember, back to the swing set with the fire. The fire is happening. You can pretend to be on the swing set if you want, or you can be on the swing set if you want. You can pretend the fire's not happening, but it is happening. Less deals, more agents fighting for those deals, more big team leaders taking those deals, commissions going down. This could save your career. It's going to take some work, some practice, some role playing. But if you can get those skills down, having those conversations and trying, I have to work so hard to get you more money. I'm just trying to get you paid, trying to earn more money. But there's so much resistance. We have a role play call every Thursday on my team. Brad ran it, my sales manager ran it last week. And I'm like, how'd it go? And he's like, I spent an hour trying to talk them into getting this thing signed. And they're bringing up all these objections that will never happen. That will never happen. You're in your head about it. This stuff just works. I'm telling you. So I think here's Brad, my sales manager. Getting buyer agreements signed and collecting your fee, I should say fee, isn't nearly as hard as it sounds. I've gotten hundreds signed. There is no easier way to raise your income. Great agents deserve to be paid well. I think most agents just don't know how much better they are than an average agent. He sold 38 houses last year. Jim, ballpark, how many times have you charged more than what was offered? How many VIPs have you gotten signed? 1,000, yeah. This can absolutely, so. Joe, you guys, and I think Jim too, you guys have been doing this. So Joe's down from Pasadena. Him and his wife Eva are a team. And Stu, what's your sales going to be this year?
Over 100 million.
Over 100 million and high dollar. So they won't even look twice at somebody under what, $1.25 million you said?
charge 3.25% if the buyer is below 1.25.
How would you like that to be your floor? $1,250,000? Like, no. Listen, $1,250,000, we're gonna have to ratchet that fee up, okay? It's pretty good. Pretty good.
And the 995.
Plus $995 transaction fee. Yeah. And you've been doing this during COVID, during crazy fee, whatever.
Yeah, since we saw it on Craig Proctor in
Yep.
2017.
Yeah. And they just do it. So what tips do you have? What's the anything secret about it, or what's?
Oh, just believe. You have to believe that it's actually possible.
Yeah.
We didn't believe it until we saw people actually doing it.
Yeah.
And then once you make that mindset shift that you can get it and you're not getting all those objections that you're thinking, if you have a value proposition, you have to have value to add
Yep.
to get a premium fee. But if you're confident that you do, you'll get it.
Yeah. That's great. That's great advice. Jim, what advice do you have?
Don't be afraid of it.
No.
It's our mentor way back when, Todd, was the
Yep.
one who talked about realtors are the most resistant people in the whole world to give themselves a raise.
Yep.
And I don't know why. So you just got to remove the doubt from your mind. Practice it, rehearse it, practice it in the mirror, practice it with someone else, get used to it. Be confident when you do it. You will get agents that will push back at you sometimes and call you all kinds of, they'll call you everything but a Christian, that you're stealing from your client, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you know, honestly, if you fundamentally believe that you are better, you are serving your clients better than what some other agent can, you're making their outcome better. I mean, put your hand in the air if you think that your client's outcome is better if you represent them buying or selling a house than if somebody else represents them, right?
Yeah.
So then you're better, right? Don't
Yep.
you deserve to get paid better?
Yep.
I mean, that's why he said earlier why the professional athlete doesn't make the same amount of money as the high school athlete.
Yep. Yep.
So be confident in it. Don't be afraid of it.
Yep. Absolutely. Kyle, anything to add?
I'm gonna learn from these guys.
That's right. Yeah, I think we got away from this during COVID, which was honestly a lack of a bad mindset on my part. I think I was just, we're up against 20 offers. Let's not bother with all this, And maybe some of it was realistic. Starting a new team, we had a lot of hurdles to clear early on. But now it's like, oh man, full-fledged. We're really going for it. And I'm not going to go through all this stuff, but the buyer books. This is all the stuff that Joe said. You got to have something unique, right? This is the stuff. All the buyer battle plan, all the reasons, the stuff that's in that buyer book. That's the stuff that makes you unique. The commission back guarantee. If you don't love your house, we'll sell it for you for free. Google us, check us out. Like you got to have that stuff. And if you're a part of our group and you've got the buyer book and you're doing this stuff, like all this training you do. Like there's nothing, that buyer book has all this stuff like me and my team. It's all generic in there. So there's no reason you can't run all these same programs. Now you might, and I pulled out the Google Us one because I'm like, I don't want people Googling some of the people in my group because they're not gonna show up, But everything else you can absolutely do. You can absolutely do. And if you Google your name and it doesn't look awesome, that's something you could and should be working on. But I pulled that out for that very reason. So that's all the stuff. And let me give you one more thing. So here's the thing is like, John, what if I'm working with a buyer and I didn't already have them sign the agreement? What am I going to do? Well, we're going to have a come to Jesus talk, And basically, if you got a buyer who you're like, let's say Claire in her scenario, she's like, shoot, man, these people looking at houses. I didn't have them sign a buyer agreement, but they're active, they're good buyers, they're working. So then you got to have a talk with them. You got to get them engaged and have a reason to talk with them. So set a meeting. Hey, good news, I now have access to some off-market properties, or good news, I have a buyer battle plan. Give them some reason you need to meet, right? I've got some properties I've been looking at, I want to show you, whatever. And then have a buyer meeting with them. So just re-engage them. Give them some good reason why you need to have a meeting, and have a meeting, right? Super simple at the meeting. Hey, we got started quickly. Let me run through this. Like when we got started, the market was frenetic, it was crazy. So let's run through this, make sure we do it right. And then you walk them through an actual buyer meeting. And the actual buyer meeting is, I don't know where it is in the slideshow, but it's that stuff I talked through. It's the weekly meeting and all the other jazz that's on that page. So it's all in order in the buyer book. Okay, and then we do ongoing training. So every Thursday, my team has a meeting at 9 a.m. Role play. Anybody in our group is welcome to join. Is that? Someone got an intercom? So that is all at. Oh, and then our full buyer training is in Trainual. So again, if you don't have access to Trainual, shoot email, and you're in our group, send an email to Ashley. She'll get you that. When you initially join us, I send you a Trainual login if you're in our group at EXP that just is like the basics. But there's a different login for my team that you're welcome to have. I just didn't want to overwhelm people when I brought you on. So if you're like, hey, I haven't seen this in your Trainual, it's there. You just have the wrong login. We'll get you the right one. So that's all there. And let me show you where. So all of you can check out, if you go to johnglutch.com. Oh, I think I can do it. Here we go. if you want to learn more about, is that going to load? Let's see. Is that coming over? Oh, there. Nope, just kidding. Maybe the other way. Do you see it now?
Something comes up, but it goes away.
Well, if you go to johnglutch.com, here, let me move it, because this is worth seeing. So if you go to johnglutch.com/training, oh, we're kind of there. It's exciting, everybody. Here we go. There's a couple trainings. So we've got our Monday Mastermind on there, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And then if you want to join our role play, then you can just click Learn More. And anyone's welcome to come join us. That's every Thursday, 9 a.m. And we go through all this stuff on a regular basis. So that's pretty cool. And you're welcome to join us on that. OK, so let's take a break. All right, I'm going to get started. And again, just kind of trickle your way out there and get yourself a drink. And I'll keep rolling. But do it quietly if you would, so I can not scream. OK, selling listings. Who wants more listings that they want to sell? Yeah, all right. Good deal. OK, so here's how you sell listings. Hey, buyers are hard. How do I get listings, right? This is you guys, bunch of crybabies. And I'm here to help. So here's what you can do to get listings. You just got to buy a whole bus or a billboard or like 15 of these. That's all. Anybody have, I don't know, 500 grand a year to do that? So that's easy. OK, next topic. Just do that, and you'll be great, right? Oh, that's actually pretty hard, huh? Expensive. You don't want to compete with Dan. That's a mistake. Don't go buy yourself a billboard. So what agents do, I get these texts all the time, like, hey, John, should I buy the grocery cart at Safeway? No, nobody gives a crap. They're buying groceries. Like, if you want to get business that way, this is what you do. Now, if you're not Dan, you pick like one neighborhood, like Coronado or something, and you just be the person there, and it's now you're on the shopping carts and you're on the bus benches and everything, and you can afford it because that's the only place you're doing it, you know. So this is the wrong game. Almost nobody should be playing this game, right? This is a very hard game to play. Dan crushes it. He does very well at it, and that's going to be a rare breed of human being that can pull that off. Don't try. Not even small. Playing small is worse than playing big because now you're just wasting money. So don't do that. Here's what you can do. Joe, I'm glad, is here today because he's doing this at a high level. And this is very targeted, very specific strategy to get listings. I'm not going to go over this in detail because most of you won't do this. It takes a lot of work, but it's not that expensive and it works. And this is basically, you send these postcards to a neighborhood, like we did this to Coronado Shores. Free May 2019 report on lower Arcadia home prices. And it's an unbranded way to get leads. And then you follow up with those. They land on a landing page like this. So they're like, oh, yeah, I'm curious what the home prices are in the area. You'd be surprised. People really do fill these out. And it's a good way to get leads. You play the long game with those leads, and it can make you a lot of money. If you want to do some kind of farming campaign, this is the one to do. It just is. You don't try anything else. And the way you get there is there's a website called, is it GoGoAgents.com? GoGoAgents.com. They have a training program, or if you're in my group at EXP, I've already paid for it. You can just let me know and I'll get you the login and all that. You're welcome to use it. But again, this takes a lot of horsepower in terms of energy and time, not a lot of money, but it does work. I don't know, how many listings would you guess you've done from this program? A lot. Like dozens and dozens and dozens, maybe 100. So he's got and these are all high-end listings, right? This won't work in luxury. Yeah, it will. It'll work. But it's hard. OK, so let's talk about this, generating referrals. So I thought, John, I thought we were talking about listings. Well, the best way to get listings is referrals. So let's talk about how to get referrals, how to get referrals for listings. First of all, build out your database. I'm going to go through some of this fast because it's on my website. Go to my website and search database and do that. It's a methodology for how to build your database, how to make it bigger. Then send them a HomeBot. They're like coming up with an email drip system and all that. It's very hard, very complicated. It takes a lot of work, time, and energy. This will do it for you. It's better. It's monthly email. Again, I'm not going to talk a lot about this, but just do it. Just grow your database, get a bunch of people in your database, send them a HomeBot, and then, here's a quick, so this is my HomeBot. I just did a screenshot of the dashboard. 2,400 people, 86 of them have asked for a CMA. That's pretty good. Pretty good, 87 CMAs. How would you like to have that many people asking you for a CMA? Pretty cool. So it works. Just do it. And it's cheap. I'm telling you stuff that I know you'll do, like that farming campaign. That'll work, but you're probably not going to do it because it's hard. This is stuff that will work. It's lower hanging fruit, smarter place to start. This is where all my agents start, everybody on my team. Let me help you get everybody into the database, and then we will start marketing to them. And then this, the world's most interesting postcard, which I think Yeah, this is on my website as well. And this is just a postcard system that we send every single month to our database as well to get referrals. And if you're in my group at EXP, I will do this for you. Actually, my team will. So if you go to johnglutch.com/WIM, World's Most Interesting Postcard, WMIPC. So if you're in my group at EXP, this is for you for free. We will send you this postcard every single month. Your name, your face, your email. I got an army of people overseas who will help you do this. You don't need to do it. They will just send it to you every single month. Is anyone, Curtis, are you taking advantage of this? Yeah. So, right, you just get an email.
I get an email and then the template set up that I forward to the stamp.com.
Yep.
And
Yep.
quickly upload it and proof it.
Yeah, awesome. So he's taking advantage of this. Half the people in the room are at my group at EXP not doing it. Dan, you're doing it. Thank you. Way to go. Easy, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything. All you do is wait for the email. So, but this website will it asks for everything he needs to do these, which is like your name, license number, all that stuff. Once he has that, we write them for you, we create them for you. It's all done like magic. It just shows up in your inbox. So if you're one of my partners, please do that. If you haven't taken advantage of it yet, I would love for you to do that so you're not wasting your own time and energy. And yeah, just to prove we're not kidding around, this is just referrals from the Glutch group so far, year to date. Closed volume, I don't know, a lot, right? So that's just referrals from our sphere. And this is what we're doing. World's Most Interesting Postcard and HomeBot. Like, it doesn't need to be a crazy thing, right? And these are almost all listings. So what is that, 8? There's some of these are buyers, but 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 of those people. 17 closings this year alone. So, and that's just referrals from our clients. Our clients, not like my team's clients, not like, Chris is on my team. If it's one of his, that wouldn't count, like his friend, family, whatever. This is people who we sold a house to and now have come back around to us and said, will you help us? So it works, I promise. Just got to do it. All right, so now, John, my listing didn't sell in the first weekend. I've been joking around about this, right? How now this is going to be a change. Yeah. And so I want to coach you through that because the listing agent lifestyle element we're addressing right now is selling listings, not getting them. That's great, sure, get them, but you got to actually sell the thing. Okay, so here's how we're going to do that. First of all, you got to set your seller expectations. I was talking about this a minute ago, and a couple of people asked me what my thoughts were on the market. Here's what I think is going to happen. I'll ask Brian too. Brian's probably more in tune with this than me because he currently owns millions and millions of dollars worth of real estate that he's flipping, right? So he cares, right? He's got a skin in the game. So, and I'm a partner of his with his flips, and so I care too. So here's what I think is happening. The market's changing really, really rapidly. That's not going to show up in prices right away. And I think over the next, I don't know, year-ish, 2, it's going to kind of be normal. Like, I don't think prices are going to fall 20% in the next year. Brian is probably going to fight me on that and say they will. But so I want you to have contrasting viewpoints. But what I think will happen is a bunch of people who were just standing around waiting for something to be scared about are going to sell. And so you're going to have a glut of listings that come on the market quickly when everyone realizes what's happening. And so it's going to be a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. For a while, I think we will see prices drop. And maybe a lot. I don't know, maybe 20% or something. I think, though, at some point that'll normalize because that supply can only last for so long. There's a lot of people like me. I have 2 houses right now. The house I live in, 2.8% interest rate, and I'm happy with my house. Why would I sell that? Even though I could make a lot of money if I sold it. Who cares? I don't want anywhere to go. And if I did, I had to get a 6% interest rate. A lot of people in that situation. I also have a great rental house in Phoenix, 3.2% interest rate. Cash flows. Could I sell it and make a lot of money today? Yes. If I sold it in 6 months, would I make less? Probably. I don't care. What am I going to do? Go buy another rental house with a 6%, a 7% interest rate? No, I don't want to do that. So that price would have to drop a lot for me to be worse off because my interest rate's so good, right? I think most people are in one of those 2 boats. So that just means there's only so much supply, and people who are flipping are very susceptible to this because there's big upside in flipping and then there's challenges, right? So there are people who it's tough right now, no doubt about it. And I'm partners with Brian, so I'm in that boat too. So Brian, give me your, how do you think things are going to go the next year? How many houses are you going to flip this year?
Well, we were going to flip 150.
150, right? So this is a guy with like tens of millions of dollars of real estate that he owns right now. That's being all over San Diego County. So he cares about this, right?
Yeah, so I mean, long and short, I've been expecting prices to correct this year, meaning like less than 10%. Over the last 2 weeks,
specifically over the last week.
Yeah, please.
Over the last week and 2 weeks, we have some houses sitting on the market right now, and
Talking to that.
all right, so we have houses sitting on the market right now that wasn't the case, obviously 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. I think 6 months from now the market is going to be significantly worse than it is right now, and I'll sum this up quickly. I think as John pointed out, like there's the people that are rushing to list their houses right now are motivated sellers. They want to sell. They want to sell now. And the way they sell, when there's buyers are scared. A lot of people have left the market right now, and then no one wants to catch a falling knife. And when you have motivated sellers and no buyers and high holding costs, the only way that these sellers can get rid of those properties are to put tenants in it, but that doesn't work right now with the interest rates the way they are, or to drop the price. And when you have a glut of sellers that are dropping their price, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, a ball of snow rolling down the hill. And I don't think you're going to have a lot of buyers come off the fence over the next 6 months after you see what happened in the stock market and everything else. So I think 6 months it's going to be a really rough time for a lot of people in positions like me. I've come to grips with this, and no one really knows right now. We're all figuring it out. But the gist of it is there's a lot of speculators operating in the market right now. If you go look at active or pending sales and recent sales, a big chunk of those are speculators. Still, and I mean, still to this day, they're still buying and buying flips and paying a lot more money than what even the smart money is doing. So anyway, those are going to be more motivated sellers, and it's going to take them. This is going to take 6 to 12 months to clear that up. With the proportion of the listings that are held by these speculators come on the market, they turn into distress when they can't sell. The hard money lenders take them over. Then they got to sell or do something with them. So I think it's going to be a little funky of a time right now. Again, 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, that's good. Great. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. So, I mean, if this is the curve and you're thinking about buying, why would you buy? Like, let's figure out when that bad boy is going to level out, Really. So it's like me in Lake Arrowhead. I'd like a Lake Arrowhead house, but wait, hold on. Let me figure out where that's going to go, because maybe it'll stop it. This isn't like a stock market. It doesn't change in a day. It changes over time. Yes?
Just looking at what Brian just said, if you added seasonality to that, and 6 months from now, it plays out pretty poorly.
Yeah, right, because it's 6 months from now, there's not as many, even less buyers. Yeah. So I think until that thing starts to level out, there's going to be a rough seas for some people. So if you're if you're talking to a seller, it's like, dude, if you got to sell in the next 6 months, sell tomorrow. That's the advice. If you don't have to sell in the next 6 months, if you got 2 years, don't sell now. Wait. In 2 years, I think you're going to be way better.
It's really pockety too. I mean,
yeah, that too.
There's some markets. We listed a home in San Marcos last week and it went above X. It's still it's very pockety. But some pockets are just getting hammered.
Yep. So that's kind of my thought on the market and what's going on and what I would be communicating to your sellers and your buyers. If it's a buyer and they got a good reason to buy or whatever, like I think the interest rates are going to get worse, so that's a good reason to buy now. And I think in the next 3 to 6 months there could be some awesome buying opportunities, like stuff like Brian's. Like he's got a lot more. He can't just wait around for a year to sell houses. He just can't, and he's not the only one. So all those deals, you're going to get deals on their properties you would not have got it a month ago. That's a good reason for a buyer to maybe look at buying a property. So if you could take advantage of that niche and what's happening in this short window of time, there might be some real opportunities for buyers in there. But if not, don't settle. There's going to be plenty of opportunities. So that's my quick analysis on what I think is happening in the market. Okay, listing and sale. Yeah, so you want to tell that story to your listings. So every listing appointment you go on, again, what's the point of the call? Figure out timing and motivation. If these people are motivated, they're moving across town, they're whatever, they got a real reason. Or some people are motivated because in their head, they're like, I got to cash in before the market crashes. That's a motivated person. It's not your job to go convince them they're wrong, that in 3 years they could be better off. You could be wrong, who knows, right? So we are taking some of those listings right now, and what we're telling those people, this curve is on our listing appointment. Like, you better believe we're talking about that curve at the listing appointment. That's 80% of what we talk about now. Not our marketing and our whatever. I mean, we go through that stuff, but kind of because we have to. What we're only talking about is this. Hey, where would you like to sell? Now, at this part of the roller coaster, or when it's down here? It's up to you. Let's get this thing on the market tomorrow and list it for the right price. I understand that your neighbor sold their house and got 15 offers a week ago. That was here a week ago. It was 50 points ago, or whatever. You're not making up the numbers, but you get the idea. So the biggest job you have at your listing appointment is making sure they understand that curve. That's it. Everything else is bonus. Because if you get a price right, you're doing them a service, you'll get it sold, it'll be great. So really critical to set seller expectations. But if they're not in a hurry, they're just like a normal seller, no huge hurry, then you just explain. And the way we used to take listings is, hey, okay, every 3 weeks we're going to call you. We'll call you every week, and every 3 weeks, if we haven't sold the house yet, we'll have a price reduction. And that's not good language, but that's basically what we were telling people. And what were we saying there? That it might take more than 3 weeks to sell this house. And that's got to be talked about. Got to be talked about. All right, and we do our weekly updates. This is all in Trainual. If you have access to my Trainual, it's in there too. But this is simple, right? Just put together hey, here's what's going on. Here's the activity. I showed you all the things you could show your buyers that you're doing to make them feel like you're working for your money. This is one of the things we do for our sellers. Is we send this every week. A virtual assistant puts this together, and we send it over to our clients. And full listing presentation, all that stuff's in Trainual. And this Kyle did, which was really good. His language around communicating with listings and his system for communicating was fantastic. So if you're in the Fast Forward group, you can go to the mastermind on the 23rd. In the Fast Forward group, watch the first 20 minutes or so of that. It's fantastic. First thing I did is send it to my list agent when that was over. And said, hey, you got to watch this. So really, really good language around communicating with sellers. Have you started to see this on your listings yet at all, or how's it going?
Yeah, we're just adjusting how many showings per week and how quickly we adjust the price.
Yeah. Are you speeding it up a little? Like normally I'd say, hey, 3 weeks.
1 week.
In this environment, yeah. I'd say if it's not sold in a week, we need to make a price adjustment.
We don't want if you're not getting showings. If you have a full week with 0 showings, you fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true. So I just think with that curve falling like it is, your timelines need to be dialed up a lot. Like it's catching the falling knife, right? Like it's sort of the opposite of that, right? You're the falling knife. So let's get that thing caught. Let's be done with it. So you just got to dial up your time frames with your listings. Okay, passive income. I'm going to talk about this quickly because we're short on time. Reminder, you're the one on the swing. Okay, so we're all selling houses. Great, that's awesome. And I was actually surprised. Quite a few of you had over a 5 on your passive income score, which is great. Way to go. Like you got a plan going, you're working on things, that's awesome. But this needs to be in your mind. You have to be thinking about. So I've got a lot of my money with Brian on his flips. So I have a conversation with him yesterday, and I called him because I knew what he was going to say. I'm like, hey, dude, we're going to take some losses on some of these flips, aren't we? And he's like, yeah. And I said, okay, no problem. I make money a lot of places, right? I got 5, 6 things that are making me lots of money. So, and I made a lot of money with Brian. So I've got some upside there that it's going to get chewed away. And I've learned over time, you do not make big gains without taking big swings. And you're going to fall over sometimes. It's just part of the game. So I'm okay with that. And it's so much easier for me knowing I've got this thing and now I'm winning that game and winning that game. And this one, not so good over here. That's okay. It's not a big deal because I have all these different streams of income. So you ought to be working on that. It needs to be a part of your plan. It will add to all the other abundant lifestyle categories. So a couple ideas. Manage expenses. So I thought that was pretty funny. If you've been drying your eyes with hundreds, stop doing it. You got to tighten up your belt. Whatever that means to you. There is an element of like you really ought to be thinking about your expenses and some things you could trim. Things might get harder before they get better. Yes, there's opportunity. Yes, the winners are going to win. And I've learned the hard way, manage your expenses. Think about this. Are there some things you could cut personally, professionally? Cut luxuries. Don't cut services that save you time. Now more than ever, your energy, time, and life force needs to be deployed at being an expert realtor. So your yard guy, your pool guy, your whatever, keep that. That's not a luxury. That's a business expense. So keep all that stuff. But if there's stuff you're doing that you can get it, if you got a lot of money, fine, whatever. You just keep your stuff, But if you're a little concerned, now's a good time to start looking at those expenses. But it's only going to get you so far. You got to get serious about setting your goals and being held accountable to those goals for stuff other than just getting houses sold. Let me give you a couple ideas. Get a plan today. Worked out for Taylor Swift there. Whoop, not so good. So create a plan today to get off the transaction treadmill. And work that is done today selling homes only pays you today. You have to find things that will pay you forever. This has to be some part of your thinking. You've got to have this as a percentage of your week dedicated to this. How are you going to focus on generating income that is not tied to you showing up today to work? Got to do it. So what's your freedom number? So if you don't have this, what's your number? What's it going to take for you to be able to go, listen, if I don't work, no problem. I could stop, And you got to figure out what that is. And that should be part of your goal setting is like, I need to make X dollars per year passively, whether I show up to work or not, for me and my family to live the way we want to live. And if you don't have that number, you should have it. And just start with something. You make something up, right? Have some number in your head of what you want that to be. Critical place to start. So I'm going to give you 3-4 ideas on how to generate income and do it quickly. Give you some of the pros and cons. Buy long-term rentals. Give me a couple pros of long-term rentals. A couple pros. Jim?
Rent always goes up over time.
Yep.
Your payment's fixed. Rent it makes you more money every single year for the rest of your life.
Yep.
It will pay for your retirement. And someday, when you leave this earth, which we all will, you can hand that asset to your children and give them advantages in life that you didn't have.
Yep. And the taxes go away when you pass them to your kids. It's crazy. The step up in basis and all this stuff, it's insane. So a lot of good tax advantages too. And appreciation? Yeah, you get to depreciate. You get to write off income, right? If you know what depreciation is, look that up. You get to write off some of your income against this, and it's just false depreciation, or there's not real expenses, which is great. So you get to depreciate some things. I think we all kind of get the basics, right? So what are some of the cons? Yeah, tenants. You got to fix crap, I got a good property manager, and it's been actually amazing. This is a house I own. I've never seen it, never even driven by it. I have no idea who lives there. But I make $800 a month positive income, and it's gone up 100 grand since I bought it. So that's cool, right? That's great. But stuff's going to break. Stuff's going to go wrong. Crap's going to need to get fixed. That's part of life. But great, proven strategy. Everybody in here should be focused on buying rental properties. Everybody. You're in real estate. You got to own rentals. It should be in your strategy. This is a short-term rental I owned in Scottsdale. Okay, so short-term rentals. What are the cons? Short-term rentals. A lot of work. Cleaning, time, energy. In San Diego, it got a lot harder recently with all these rules and stuff. I felt one of the reasons I sold mine was I felt bad. Like I just felt bad that the neighbors, I was the reason they lived next to a hotel. Like it just weighed on me, So that was, for me, that was a con. Maybe some of you are just soulless people and you don't care, I'm not pointing fingers, but they make a lot of money. I mean, we crushed it on this. We made a ton of money on that house. The positive upside on the income is really, really good. So they can make a lot of money.
Where was that house?
That was in Scottsdale. Old Town. Yeah, we tore it down and built a whole new, so we designed it how we wanted it to be. It was really cool.
Why don't you just make it a long-term rental?
I know. Don't tell Jim, I made a mistake. It was during COVID. I panicked a little. I know, I panicked a little. I don't even want to tell you how much more it's worth than I sold it for. So I don't always get it right.
Yeah, let's take that night.
So there's a lot of upside to short-term rentals as well if you've got the time and energy to put into it. In general, I think the way to look at it is if you don't have the time and energy to put into it, then long-term rentals are better. And you as a real estate agent, your income your ceiling is limitless. You can make as much money as you can figure out how to make. So if you're a government employee with a fixed wage, I would figure out how to do short-term rentals and deploy your time against the extra money you'll make on a short-term rental. If you're a real estate agent, I think that's a mistake. I would do something that's passive, that takes you no time, no energy, and go sell more houses. That'll make you more money in the long run. And then go buy more rentals or do whatever, right? Okay, the BRRRR method, this is buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and repeat, right? So this is basically like find a property that's under market, buy it, fix it up nice, and then refi it to pull some cash out. And then you go buy another house, right? So it's a way of leveraging the home you're buying. This works a lot better in appreciating markets. But it's a nice way to leverage, because one of the cons of all these strategies is it takes money. Like you got to have, I don't know, 100 grand at least to get into any of these properties, right? So that is a big downside. And this is theoretically a way, and you can Google the Burr method, it'll give you more strategies. It's more leverage though. You're using more of the bank's money, which theoretically makes you more money, but there's possible, you've got more downside anytime you're deploying more leverage. I screwed this up in 2008 and lost everything I had. Sure. Lost all my money. So this can go bad. And if you really are losing traction in the market, it can go bad because you've borrowed so much money against your houses and there's not enough cash flow to cover it. So my fundamentals changed. Some of the lessons I learned from my mistakes was I only buy cash flowing assets that strongly cash flow. So I put as much money down as I need for those things to cash flow so that I can ride out the storm as long as I need to ride it out. That simple rule has helped me a lot. And then agent attraction. Those of you, I know a lot of you are at EXP. So if you're at EXP, this is a way to generate income as well. So EXP will pay you money to recruit people to the brokerage. So anybody who comes over to EXP, and if you're the one who influenced them to do that, you get paid money. And it's passive, right? They're just agents. They're just working. Joe, I recruited to EXP, for example. I have no idea what he does every day. Sells a lot of, somehow figures out how to sell $100 million worth of houses up in Pasadena. That takes me no time, no energy, and I spent $0 to do it, right? He just does his thing, right? So very little time, energy required for that. Once someone comes over, it's very, very passive, right? It does take a little work on the beginning because you've got to present enough value. So why would Joe want to come join me at EXP? Well, your story is actually kind of funny. So Joe, why did you initially come join me at EXP? Be honest.
Because we didn't want to be independent anymore and worry about the DRE showing up.
Yeah, he was an independent broker and just didn't want the liability. And the more honest answer I was looking for is because John asked me to.
Yeah, at the right time.
Yeah, his E&O was up, right? Wasn't that what happened? Yeah. I happened to call him when he was going to have to write like a big check for liability insurance. So it worked out great. But he came to a conference like a couple months afterwards and was like, I didn't even know this existed. This is great. I made a good decision. I'm like, why did you even come, man? But thankfully, I leveraged Joe's cheapness against him and it worked out great. So now, for the rest of my life, every year, I get paid every year from EXP because Joe is here. And then also anybody he recruits, I get a little piece of that. And so this thing kind of grows without me over time. So really, really cool opportunity. If you're at EXP, you should absolutely be spending some percentage of your time with this. And if you're not at EXP and you're interested, let me know. We'd love to talk to you about that, of course. But great strategy to generate some passive income. Bringing over 5 people who cap, so that's just people who do 80 grand in commissions a year, will make you 14 grand a year. And if that's all you ever did. And they never recruited anybody. So the numbers can add up very quickly, and very often people do recruit people. Many of you in the room were brought to EXP by someone who I brought to EXP, and I didn't know you until today. So that's pretty cool that my little group is growing and growing and growing without me. So pretty awesome. Awesome opportunity there. So Tyler, who's here, I asked you this the other day. What did you think about revenue share initially? It'd better for you just to tell the story. He was the first member of my team. Tyler took a huge risk because I'm like, I'm going to start a team in San Diego. And he's like, okay, let's do it, man. And what are we going to do? I'm like, I don't know. You're number one. Why don't you figure it out, right? He took a lot of risk. But you didn't come over at all for revenue share. Had zero to do with that, right? Tell me what your thought was.
My wife still cracks up because she sold oil, she's done Arbonne, she's done, right, all these MLMs.
Yeah.
She was just, that's what I thought it was, and I was like, I'm not coming over for that. And I really honestly thought it's probably only scales at the leadership level. You and Dan and Kyle and major players in real estate probably can make it work, but like, who am I? I'm just going to be a team member.
Yeah.
I can't do it. But it's been once I got into the group and understood just the value of collaboration, and that like Kyle's rooting for me to win, which he wasn't prior to EXP. Not that he didn't know me or like me, but now he has like a vested interest in my success, which is crazy to think. Yeah. And so does Dan, and so do you, and so do all these other guys. And it really just started to add up, and it's really fun right now. Yeah. Really fun.
Yeah.
It took a little while, but it's really fun.
Yeah. Tyler sent me a text the other day, got a $2,000 check for that month. And yeah, it's like, it's awesome. It's great. One of the best things for me is like when I can help figure out ways for my agents to succeed, especially independent of me. They're just doing their thing and they're out there succeeding. So really cool. So great opportunity there. Okay, so I'm very briefly going to talk about this because I want to invite you to something. So serving others. critical. This is a big part of the abundant agent lifestyle, is how are we going to serve others. So I am going, oh shoot, you know what? The audio is not going to work. I'm going to give you, no, there's no way I'm going to get that to work. So I'll just tell you about it. So Kelly Gilson, is he still here? He may be, there he is. So Kelly Gilson introduced me to Baja Bound. Baja Bound is an awesome organization that builds homes in Mexico. And they build homes for people who really need houses. They're in bad shape. You know, I'll just give you the video because it's worth at least seeing, and then I'll kind of talk you through it. Because I want you to come on the next trip that we do.
Could you put that little remote next to it?
Hey, what's going on? I am John Glutch with eXp Realty. I'm here with my great friend Kelly.
Kelly Gilson, also with eXp.
And we're here in Baja, Mexico, down near Ensenada, building houses for some families who really don't have a place to live right now.
They're traveling from southern Mexico all the way up to Ensenada, and after working in the fields, they've decided to move their families out of their working conditions and currently living in tarps, tents.
We come down here to build houses, right? We come down over a 3-day time frame, and then over the course of the next 2.5 days, build a house.
It'll be a 3-bedroom, small little house with a loft that typically 2 or 3 generations can live in.
Just getting them up out of the dirt in a clean home that is sturdy and safe and warm is life-changing for them.
It actually gives the children 5 times the likelihood to survive by the age of 5.
One of my favorite things about doing these trips is that we don't have to leave the kids at home. We get to bring them with us. This is my daughter Eden. So Eden, what's one of your favorite things about these trips?
One of my favorite things is that we get to help people and play with puppies.
We really like coming down and bringing our kids and giving them a little perspective change. We live such a blessed life at home. We think it's important to come down and connect with the people who are less fortunate.
Nothing really too kind of intimidating. I was a little worried about my younger kids. It's a project that allows for young kids and older kids to kind of all get it.
Seeing what we're able to do in such a short amount of time to really help people that have never had a home before. It's a pretty special experience.
One of our passions is to help other people in the real estate industry get excited about doing these trips because A, it's fantastic to get to help change some lives and see literally people who are living in tents end up in these really fantastic houses, but also the experience that we get to have is coworkers, people who are in the same industry, who get to swing hammers alongside each other with our friends and family. It's fantastic. It's second to none. There's a level of community and connection and bonding that happens that doesn't happen any other way when we get to work alongside each other.
The accommodations are pretty amazing. Being able to stay right on the beach, the house is absolutely gorgeous. The common area grounds that everybody gets to hang out in, the food's spectacular.
We would love for you to join us next time we come down on a trip.
Yourself, your family, your entire community, your team. It's an amazing team building experience.
If you want to join us on one of these trips, just reach out, let us know, we'll get you on the list for the next one, and we hope to see you soon. Okay, so for us, that's the idea, right? We want to get you guys connected and hopefully grow the industry into this abundant agent lifestyle. And I hope that's been a helpful insight for you today. So what I want to do to wrap this up, I like to end our meetings this way. It'll go quickly because it's just one word. So I hope that you have felt like pushed and encouraged and challenged into more abundance into your own life, into your own thinking. And I'd love to just hear one word of how you feel. One word. It could be a sentence, max a sentence. You're all realtors, okay? Just be brief, okay? One sentence or one word's even better on how you feel. We're gonna get everybody. We're just gonna go around. So one word, how you feel about the meeting today, about life, whatever. How do you feel? We're just gonna go across. Challenged.
Happy.
Happy. Kelly, can we close the door real quick?
Grateful.
Thanks, buddy. Grateful. Educated. Encouraged. Inspired.
Creative.
Okay.
Motivated.
Hungry.
Creative.
All right.
Motivated.
Opportunity.
Eyes wide open. Inspired. Excited.
Fired up.
Inspired.
Smart. All right.
Oh.
Back row.
Inspired.
Energized.
All right. Inspired. A lot of inspired. That's great. All right.
Excited.
Aware.
Okay.
Inspired.
Okay. Yeah, you next. I can see it back there.
Thankful.
Yeah.
Glutched.
All right.
Ready.
Joyful.
It's a thing now.
Excited and thirsty.
All right. All right. Okay. Okay. Inspired.
Courageous.
All right, and you guys are, hey, thanks you guys. So, all right, so love it. I'm glad you feel good. I loved it, had a great time. And was this helpful? Yeah. All right, so my challenge to you is if this was helpful and you're not already a part of what we're up to, you're not already a part of the group, you're not a part of the Glutch group, you're not a part of our group at EXP, would this be helpful? Would partnering with us be something that, like, all the stuff I talked about today, we have training and resources and meetings and training and all this other stuff. So my challenge and encourage to you is come join us. If you're not already a part of the gang, come join us. We would love to have you be a part of what we're up to with our particular group at EXP. And so if you're interested in learning more about that, I'll show you what you can do to do that. So there's 3 ways we can help you right now. One is if this wasn't enough, if you're like, you know what, John, I don't believe that you can help us. This was not very helpful. And you need a little more proof, then you can come join us at our Monday Mastermind. And that's every Monday at 10 a.m. And so that's a mastermind we do digitally. A lot of the ideas I said today came from that. So if you go to johnglutch.com/training, I think, double check on that, then you can join the Monday Mastermind there, and you can get the link. It's a password. You have to have it, and that'll send everything to you, remind you about it. Or you could come join us at the Tony Robbins Conference in August. So we're going to a real estate conference called Build. Yes, a lot of us are going to be. Who's going to be at Tony Robbins? Who's already in? Yeah, great. So we're all going to be there in August. We would love to have you join. It's a 3-day event of real estate training, growing your business, and then Tony Robbins speaks. It's incredible. We would love to have you at that event if you'd like to come. Or if you're like, dang, dude, this is awesome. I'd love to learn more from you, be a part of your group. Then reach out to Ashley. She would be happy to set you up with a Zoom to kind of walk through what it looks like to partner up with us. So that's it. Thanks, you guys. You're welcome to mingle, hang out.